The profit of thought. Open your mind, 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 open your mind. Open your mind, 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 open your mind.
Open your mind.
The profit of thought. It's the new dark exodus, slide.
D.X.L. You know. Open your mind.
The profit of thought. You know. The profit of thought. Profit of thought. Open your mind, 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 open your mind.
And peace, folks. And welcome back to another edition of the Profit of Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I am your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why y'all black asses are here. Tonight, very, I don't want to say different because we do these kind of shows a lot. We probably do more of these shows than anybody else. But tonight, here on D.X.L, we're going to have a guest on tonight. As you can see down here at the bottom parts, Just Jazz has agreed to come on and give us a little bit of a history lesson, man, of, because I know often y'all hear me up here and, I get on these old mamas, expect to hear that a few times tonight. But, yeah, she's going to come up here tonight, man. And I know that we talk about it from a male's perspective, right? From a young black boy perspective, from a grown black man perspective. But tonight, we're actually going to get it from a female's perspective. And, you know, she's going to talk to us about, you know, what she went through. She's going to talk to us about her old mama. So hold on to your seats for this one. It's probably going to be a tough one. Yeah, it's probably going to be a tough one. But this is what we do here. But before we get started, as always, y'all know I got to thank all you good folks, man, these good folks here in the chat, and all you good folks out there, man, for the support that you give the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You know, like I always say, man, you know, you don't have to do what you do, man. You know, you don't have to contribute that money, that time, those views, or those subscriptions, but you choose to do so, man. You choose to do so, and y'all look out for this platform so much, man. And you know, I just want to thank y'all, man. You know, I want to thank y'all for all y'all do, man. The way y'all look out for this platform, the way y'all look out for the T.P.O.T YouTube page, man, and ultimately how y'all look out for me, man. And I just want y'all to know that it's appreciated. I'm thankful for it, man. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm grateful for everything that you good folks do out there, man. And I know this platform wouldn't be what it is without you good folks. All right. So I just want to thank all of y'all, every single one of y'all out there, man. I want to thank all of y'all. All right. All right. So, you know, let's get at it. Yeah, Just Jazz is gonna be on tonight. What's good, the Windy City native? I see you up there, man. Yeah, she's gonna come on, man, and y'all know we do this a lot. It's been a while since I've done one of these shows, but y'all know I do. These are the shows I do. You know, this is what we do here. And you know, she agreed to come on, man, and let us know what's good, man. So she hasn't gotten here as of yet, but I'm waiting on her. I did send her the link. We were in contact with each other a little while ago, so I'm sure she will be here any moment. All right. All right. Also, a few programming notes, man. I'm going to try to get a debate going for Saturday, because my man hit me up with a debate idea. So I'm going to go ahead and pursue it. I'm going to chase it down and see what happened. All right. So we might have a big debate Saturday night. And y'all know when we do Saturday nights, we do them early. So we might have a throwdown up here Saturday night, because I hate to let a week go by and not give y'all a debate, because we didn't have a debate last night. And I know y'all was like, damn, we in a debate. But, you know, wasn't my fault, y'all. You know, I put it together. All I can do is try to put it together. I mean, if the folks don't show up, there's nothing I can do. But yeah, right, brother. Because that's brother Brandon, Entanglement L. That's brother Brandon, right? Brother Brandon. They always do that shit, man. When they come up here, you know, you've been watching. You know, you know, they don't. I don't know. They don't show up. What's good, brother Terrence? What's good with it, man? Don't fucking go down there, man, to fucking Greenville, man. I hope your ass done reconsidered that Greenville trip, brother. I hope you have reconsidered, my brother. You know, because I would hate to hear some bullshit happen to you down there, man. You know, I would hate to hear that, brother. Yeah, man, I would hate to hear it, man. So you know, fuck it, man. You know, if you're gonna take a trip, man, take a trip here to the Queen City, man. There's plenty of hoes here. You know, you just gotta get past the fat ones, the ugly ones, and the ones with the bad wigs, and the ones with 5 baby daddies and shit. Once you get through all of that, you might find somebody that's decent. I'm just saying. You know, I mean, I know a couple decent chicks that's like around here that I know, you know, because, you know, some of them actually, you know, bring their equipment and shit, you know, to my shop and shit like that. So, you know, man, I I try to look out, man. You know, I try to plug you. I will try to plug you, man. I will. I'll plug you if I can. You know, give you the plug and shit. Because at least, you know, if you fuck around with somebody that I know, you know, I feel a little better. You know, they are less likely to, you know, to get you stuck up or, you know, get you robbed or some bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they know if they do that shit, they got to fucking answer to me. So I'm just saying, man, I want you to be safe, brother. You know, I don't mean to tell you what to do, but I want you to be safe, man. I don't want shit to happen to you, brother. You know, us brothers from New York, man, we got to stick together down here in these sticks, man. You know, you fuck around and get taken for a ride, brother. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Also, damn, something else I want to fucking tell y'all. I guess it'll come to me later. Shit, I'm fucking with brother Terrence. God damn it, I forgot what I was gonna tell y'all and shit. But I guess it'll come to me. Oh yeah, I got a new series coming out. You know, just keep it between us. Yeah, I got a new series coming out, man. It's called X Cuts, because y'all know this is the Prophet of Thought series. All right. The Prophet of Thought is the name of the platform. That's not my fucking name. My name is Xavier, Negroes. But the Prophet of Thought series is the name of the platform. And I have a new series coming out. I'm probably going to roll it out. I don't know. Maybe this weekend. Maybe Monday. I don't know. I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to premiere it, man. And, you know, see what y'all think. All right. All right. I would get a little more into it, but the guest of honor has arrived. So let me go ahead and bring them in and welcome them properly. Lady Jazz, what's good with it? Lady Jazz, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I can hear you. You good?
Yay! My first time joining on live. How are
Yeah,
you
don't worry about
today,
it.
Brother X?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. First and foremost, let me go ahead and say that, you know, I appreciate you coming on.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh shit, we got technical difficulties. Can you hear me, Lady Jazz?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm on my phone. I'm not on the computer, so
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah.
Make sure you're in a good spot and get somewhere, you know, where you you know, don't have no interference from the trees and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially pine trees. Stay away from pine trees because they will interfere with the signal. Pine
I
trees
didn't
will.
know that. Thanks,
Yeah, they'll
Brother X.
interfere.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some, but not those.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thanks.
We've had these kind of shows, you know, in the past, and it's something that we often talk about here. You know, I mean, people are not unused to me doing these kind of shows, but I haven't did one in quite some time. And you know, I mean, if you follow me, you already know how I get down, especially when it comes to these old mamas. So you already know what it is if you watch me, right? You watch me, right? You watch me, right? Can you hear me?
Hello,
Shit.
Brother X.
Damn, I keep losing her.
Everyone can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, shit. Can you hear me? Lady Jazz? Can you hear me? Oh, shit. All right. Let me drop her down and bring her back up. Hopefully it ain't on my end. It shouldn't be. Lady Jazz? Lady Jazz?
Yes.
Okay.
Dang
Can you
it.
hear me now?
Crap. Yes.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
I don't know where you want to start. I mean, you can start wherever. Well, let me say this first before we get started. Let me
Okay.
say this. Now, I don't want you to say anything that's going to, stir up things between, your family
The
or nothing like
crowd,
that. I don't.
like
Well, you can.
audience or something.
I don't give a shit if you stir up the crowd because they already know how it is here. They already know what it is. I don't care about that. Now, I don't want you to say something that's going to, maybe cause problems with your family or nothing like that, because I don't know if they watch me or not. So, I mean,
Yeah.
feel free to, I want you to speak freely, but I want you to speak as freely as you think you can, if you can understand what I'm saying. So, I mean, won't you
Yeah.
start with telling us about your childhood? Let's start there.
Well,
Let's,
let me tell you one thing first before that, because I'm gonna be kind of like all over the place. I'm gonna like talk like I usually talk, like just like a regular conversation. And plus, I've never been on a live stream before. I kind of just listen to like different things, videos or whatever. So
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of, I don't know, I just gonna do the regular approach as if someone was here.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
like okay, well, yeah, my folks, my parents, like all my family, like my immediate family, because I don't know nobody else. I mean, I have visited some family from where I'm from, but I only really know my immediate family as opposed to anyone else of any age or whatever. They might, for whatever reason, know, a lot of their family or whatever, but I just so happen to just know my immediate family and some family, from where I'm from. But yeah, my folks, they're not real old, but I don't think they would never know about it because they don't use YouTube, even though they might have heard of it. And they're probably not like techie, because my parents, they're like probably like, I don't know how to say it, like my mom had me young, but like, like a lot of people, different ages, they like use certain stuff. Like you, for example, I mean, you use this platform that us, that in the generation of us millennials, but not everyone knows about certain things, or even if they do, they don't use it, so they really wouldn't really know. But yeah, like anyways, well, my childhood was like good and bad, like a lot of people's. It wasn't like perfect, but I had a lot of bad times. Like I'm from Louisiana, born there, but I'm also like from Houston, so I'm both. I'm a Houston girl. And well, my parents were married, and so my situation, of course, is different but similar to other people I've heard on the platform of yours and other people, but they happen to be much older. That's why I feel like, I kind of don't fit in. But I didn't have like parents that were like drug addicts and drinking and stuff like that. But I did go through like, dysfunction and stuff like that. Because I used to didn't know about a lot of stuff like that I know now. But then when out, I'm out of my, from under my parents, and I'm on my own since the last 3 years. And I'm just, just learning about like, because you never stop learning, but I'm just learning about stuff that I never knew, that much about was happening to me and my siblings in my childhood, because you really didn't know what to call it. You didn't know if it was wrong or right. And, you kind of just go through things like when you grow up, kind of like some situations in life that you don't have to go through. So that's kind of like where I'm coming from. Like,
Mm-hmm. How
you
old are
know what
you?
I mean?
How
21.
old are you, Jazz? Okay, so
21.
you're young. You're a kid,
Mhm,
like literally a kid. You're like younger than my
mhm.
youngest kid. So
Yeah, it's like I don't know, cause I didn't tell you, and I know you'll understand, but when I heard you, like your platform is similar to like some of the other people I like to listen to, Brother
mhm.
X, but it's different because you talk about certain stuff, and you know we everybody who watches you, you know that, and then your personality is kind of
Oh, you
like a lot of
you
people,
mean
but it's
do
different.
you
Yeah,
mean I talk about these
you
old
know, like good stuff, but stuff that's nobody talks about. You
do do you mean that? Go ahead. Go ahead.
know?
Go ahead.
Say it like Brother X. Tell me, what were you gonna say?
Well, what I was going to ask you was because when you wrote me, right, you were
Hmm.
writing me about your mom, I guess, right?
Yes.
And how did she treat you when you were little? Now you say your parents were married, right? You say your parents were married, right?
Yes. My parents
So
were married. Hmm.
okay, your parents are they still married? They're still married, right?
No,
Or no?
because no, this is what happened. It's kind of long, and I know your show is long, and this is about me and you and stuff. So I feel comfortable doing this, and then I have a place where I can talk about things because you know, like how we're doing here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I never had that. Not even just a platform because it's even better. But you know, generally, like a lot of people, no matter what they're going through, you could be shy. You probably don't have anyone to talk to, and like you said, like you kind of put out there all the time how that certain things need to be talked about, and that's
That's right.
actually true. And certain things that happen to people is not really talked about because of course it happens, and certain things that's not right keeps going on. But then you know, if one person's doing something and then that's appearing like that's something that's supposed to be happening and another person is doing it, then how do you sometimes know right from wrong if you weren't really taught which way to go? Because you know, when I'm coming from like, you know, just me and everybody, and from coming up all the way up into now, like everybody. So if you're like, I've heard this one thing before but never other than that, that kids do what they see, and then you're, you know, like when everybody's getting taught something, there's also like usually you get taught from the people that you are around and other stuff too. So if you were raised by your parents, which most of us were, of course they're the teachers or whoever. But then, you know, school and daycare, whatever, the TV, so all that goes into it. But really this is mainly about my mom, and you know, all that stuff does matter, but like, you know, really what I'm trying to say is that my parents were married and they were good, but they kind of like had, you know, like fights and, you know, like stuff like that. Cause my dad, he used to like beat my mom, you know, like, you know, some women go through that, and I don't see it now or know about it, but I'm sure it still happens, of course, like a lot of things. But that's what I known coming up, but I never saw that a lot. I only saw it like maybe 2 times coming up when I was very young. So that's, you know, one part of why I grew up how I grew up, you know, from I forgot what age I was. I was really young. I don't know, like 6, but I was really young, not like a toddler, but older than that. And my dad, he used to like abuse my mom, and we were living in apartments, and my mom, she used to call the cops on my dad. So that's one thing that I used to see, and a problem that a lot of females used to have, you know, and probably still do, of course. But after that, I didn't really see that much anymore, you know, with them, because my mom, I don't know if she visited my dad in jail or not, because I just didn't know. She didn't talk about it a lot and stuff like that. But after that, it was like, you know, the whole time, of course, I grew up with my mom, but my dad, he would be still in our lives off and on. And mind you, I am the firstborn. I am the spoiled one, kind of. But I'm the firstborn out of like 5 brothers and sisters. My mom has 3 and 3, and she was only married to my dad. Now she's married to somebody else, no kids. But my mom was only married to my dad and stuff like that. And I do have another brother that my dad told me that wasn't wasn't my wasn't from him. But anyways, that's a different story. But I didn't know that. But he's still my brother. But anyways, I've seen my dad off and on, throughout my life. So I know my dad, and I've seen my dad, and I see him as a good guy, despite the one fact that he was beating my mom those 2 times I seen him. But other than that, hey, I want to live. I can't. Oh, oops,
Well,
sorry, brother.
let me ask you this. Now, I heard you mention that your pops was in jail, right? Or something, right? For a time, right? So, did you grow up primarily with your mom? Did you grow up with your mom primarily? I guess you and your brothers and sisters and everybody else. Like, did you grow up with just old mama, or you said your old man was like in and out of you guys' lives, but I'm assuming that you stayed primarily with your mom, right?
Maggie.
Right?
Hello, brother X.
Yeah. Did you hear
Now,
what I said?
sorry, my neighbors was bothering. No, what were you saying, brother X? Sorry.
No, what I was saying was you were saying that your pops was in jail, right?
Yeah, he had
And
went to jail. Yes.
okay. So you lived with your mom primarily, right? You and your brothers
Yes.
and sisters. So
Mhm.
how was that? How was it when you were just living with your mom?
That
How was
was
that?
bad. That was not good and good. Like a lot of people can just generally say things like that in their life, because what you said to me that I couldn't figure out and understand. I'm thinking like, of course I know in life, no matter what age, you go through bad and good. But my childhood might not been the worst like somebody else, like how I heard on the live streams. And before that, I know things, but I still didn't have a good childhood, but I still had a lot of good times. But I've seen my dad come in and out our life, I guess because my mom, she let him, and sometimes we had stayed with him. And mind you, I was the before my brothers and sisters, of course, like I was the firstborn, and I knew more stuff than them, but they knew, just as much as I did when they were in the picture, but like he I don't know, he taught me like a lot of things when I seen him, but I didn't get a lot of chance to like see my dad, me and my siblings, because I just figured out now. See, I didn't know then, but I'm realizing now that my mom, she didn't really want us to see my dad, because sometimes when my dad come, I don't know if my mom still wanted to like see him, even though he did what he did. But that was just then. But I guess she made up her mind that she didn't want to like be with him. But I mean, my dad, like, he kept coming in and out of our life, and of course, like they were together, but they were separate. That's what I remember, like just from that time when I was real little and on up.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, I mean, I don't know when, he was in and out of our life, but I know my dad was trying to be there. He wanted to be there, and he loved my mom. And I have good memories of him, other than the time where he was arguing and, you know, trying to hit my mom those 2 times. I remember when I was really young. And that's it. That's the only bad memories I have of my dad. So that's all I know about that. But I know for the most part, he was a good guy, and he wanted to be there, And when you talk about the bad mamas, my mom is definitely one of those. Probably not the worst, but she is, because she tried to keep my dad out my life. And I know, like, from what the things I'm gonna continue to tell you, is gonna, like, prove that. Because later on, like, my dad sometimes tried to get back with my mom, and he said he loved her. And when we used to go to my dad's parents' house, because she just didn't want us to see my dad,
Why
even though they were separate. I don't know why, because that was my mom's thing.
why
I
did
just, that's
she
why I realized.
so why do you think she was trying to keep you from your dad? Did she ever tell you why, or did she just say, okay, you can't see him, I
No,
don't want you going over there? Did she ever tell you why?
no, because in growing up and up until, like, like, the whole time, my mom, she never really talked about anything. We never grew up in a household where nothing was really talked about. Like, we hadn't got, I mean, we was told stuff, not to do, what to do, and all that stuff, but we didn't have necessarily the parents who sat down with you and talked to you about, like, any certain stuff. It's just we lived, things happen, whatever. And that's just how we lived. I mean, they said, my dad said certain things to me and told me certain wise things, like that. Like how somebody can tell somebody, when
Hmm.
they're a kid or older or something. But other than that, we didn't have no parents like, oh, this is what you do for this, or don't do that. It was like, you either did it or not, but nothing was really talked about, really. It was just, we just lived and experienced what we experienced. You know what I mean?
So how did your mom treat you? Especially once
Oh,
your dad was out the house. How did she treat you and your brothers and sisters? How did she treat you guys?
oh, well, oh God. Um, Growing up, of course, we had bad and good, but, like, we was always generally struggling. Like, I can picture, like, from coming up, we was living in apartments, like a lot of people, of course, know the deal. But after that, gradually, as we got older and stuff like that, and my dad was still not really in the picture at all. But some reason he came around, and then there was more babies. But my mom is appearing to not really want. That's what I'm seeing now. My mom is appearing to not really want to be with my dad, right? Like you say, married or not, because, like, she well, he's the father of my how many of us? My four siblings and my other sibling, but he's not the biological, but it's still, he's the father of us, especially us five. And so, but she was never wanting him really in the household. I have seen things that my siblings haven't seen from coming up, because I walked in on my dad and my mom when they were, doing stuff, and I've seen the fighting and things like that. But he was never really all the time there, like, long. She didn't have him, like, there, like, oh, to help us, to do anything, to stay and try to get back with him. It was always like, from whatever the apartments we lived in coming up, my mom always had some, like, it's kind of different than other people, but I think it's the same. She always had some dude over. So that's the one thing I do have experience, like other stuff. They
Oh,
weren't drug
so
addicts, but I had a bad, like, she always had a dude over, and they were pretty cool. But she always had a dude over, somebody like that. My mom from the apartments or somewhere from work, she had him over. We know that life, and we experienced, lights out all the time, you know, and we have a dad and stuff like that, or
wait,
no
wait a minute.
no help.
Wait a minute.
And
Wait a minute.
then,
Wait a minute. What'd you say? Lights out? What do you mean?
yeah,
Power out?
like,
Power off?
yeah, like, yeah, like, not all the time, but I know that sometimes we had, like, no electricity, and we dealt with that. And then, things got, my life, things got, a
So
little bit
so she had y'all
rougher.
so she had y'all struggling. Mom had y'all
Yes,
struggling.
yeah, basically that's what I'm saying. Like, and gradually we was like, I
Well,
don't know how to,
when
I
did
don't want
the
to tell it step.
when did the struggling start? Did it start after the old man was gone, after your pops was gone? That's when the struggling started.
No, because when my mom got divorced was way later. It was like, I don't know, but it was a few years ago, not real recent. It
Hmm.
was like when I was a teen. She had
Okay.
got divorced from my dad, had finally, but we weren't there. We don't know when, but we know
Mm.
that she got the divorce and she didn't marry. And now just recently, I guess like 2 years ago, she's married to some foreign guy. She doesn't have any kids, but with him. But anyways, like um after that apartment and that situation, I forgot where else we live. We live like, I don't know, like, but we lived in some other apartments, I think. No, I don't remember, but we were living in hotels. Generally after that, we were living in hotels. We was living in the car and stuff like that. And we didn't, my mom, nobody knows but me and my siblings and my mom. TBOT, like brother X, no one knows. So that's why I'm telling my story too, because no one knows, and I didn't have nobody, like you said on one of your videos, nobody defends the kids when they go through anything, because the kids have to listen to the parents. They have no
Yeah.
rights. And
Well,
also when
this is the thing. This is the thing,
I know that
lady
stuff.
guys.
Mhm.
This is the thing. Now, people often say, all right, and I totally disagree with them. They say that, black women are the most unprotected people in the world. I disagree. I believe that black children are, because black children, when these women have these children, guess what? Whatever this woman is going through, guess what? The children are forced to deal with it. Like you just said, the power being off and living in hotels and living in the car and all that
Yeah.
kind of shit. You're a kid.
Hmm.
So you are forced to deal with that. You can't jump in your car and take off and bounce. All right. You're
Hmm.
forced to deal with that. And what it
Yeah.
appears to me, it appears that many of these women don't care. They just go ahead and do whatever they do, and they're not cognizant of how the decisions they make affect the children. Now, you said that your mom had, I guess, multiple boyfriends or whatever, Um,
And yeah. We was
so
living in the shelter too. We was living in all that. The shelter, never like totally on the street, but we was on the street. And my mom, I know she was smart enough to like get some help from somebody. Like we was living in a shelter in the middle of one of those times where I was young, where we was not living in one of those apartments. I think it was before, after, in between. But around that time, like when I was really young, like not when my parents were actually together, of course when they were married, but not when they were together, but after, when I'm like a little older, like I don't know, like I don't know, 10, 11, 12, or something like that. We were in the shelter, and then I don't know, we got with some people, we have lived with
what was
people,
that
my
like?
mom.
What was that
It was
like?
different stuff because
What was
well,
living in
what
the
I
shelter like?
remember,
What was living
I
in the
don't
shelter
remember.
like?
Yeah, cause it was that one shelter down here. It was one time and it was great, but yeah, like I don't know, cause it was like, I don't know where we lived in the shelter, but we lived in some rooms. I guess they're made like apartments, cause I've never actually been to one other than
So
that time, and it was a
so
while ago.
it was great living there. It was great living in the shelter. It was great.
Yeah, it was for the most part great. Yeah, because we had some kind of our own space, and then sometimes I think the
And
people of the
and
shelter.
electricity, right? Now,
Yes.
this
Hmm. And we had to use crazy light bulb.
the, the reason why I said that is because you said, there was times where, there was no electricity and all this kind of nonsense. So I'm
Oh
assuming
yeah, yeah,
the shelter at least had electricity in it and food and shit
yeah.
like that. So did
Hmm.
did she ever starve y'all? What was it ever time where y'all were starving, or she was off with one of her boyfriends and y'all was just at the house? Like, was it
Oh
did it ever
yeah,
did it
it
ever get
was.
that bad? Go
I
ahead.
had similar times like that, brother X, cause way after the shelter, and then we was basically off on our feet off and on, but my mom was still by herself. She didn't she I guess she worked. She was what I know, my mom was a hard worker, but I know my dad was alive. I know my dad he loved us, and I've had good times with my dad. And the only thing I know was way younger. The only bad experience I know is just my dad. He used to try to like beat my mom for whatever that they was going through, So we had winded up in the shelter at the time for that around when we were in the apartments, a long time ago. That's when that happened. That was a long time ago. And then gradually, she was still by herself, but then she, working, whatever. And then she just randomly, whatever, just, random guys. They were like, thug looking guys or bad, no drugs, but they was always some guy, and she bring them there and they was cool. And then
Well, let me ask you
they
this.
never was left at our house, but she bring them from somewhere like work or a
Well,
neighbor.
well,
And
let
then I
me
guess
ask
they
you.
like my mom. That's my experience.
Let me ask you a really really tough question. Did you have
Okay.
any problems? Did you ever have any problems with any of mom's boyfriends, like them coming in your room at night, cutting their eyes at you or trying to touch on you? Do you ever have any of those
Yeah, I
experiences?
had that
Of
like
course you
I
did.
two times.
Of course.
Three
Go ahead.
Yes, brother X, and my mom doesn't know, and I'm telling you this stuff because nobody knows. She don't know, and she put us in a bad situation. And my dad don't know this. Any of my grandparents, three sets of grandparents, nobody knows. But you
Did
guys.
did you ever
And
tell her? Did you ever tell her?
no, I didn't tell her that because I just didn't, and I didn't know how to tell her. And my mom is kind of like, right now, she's still not right because
So
it's something else to my mom that she's doing, not to me, but to my
okay, hold
sister.
up, hold up, hold up. Let's back up. Let's
I
back up.
can't talk to my mom because I had a good. I mean, I have like I don't have no. I never had, of course, with my grandparents because I was the spoiled one. I was the first one and all
Hmm.
that. But my mom, I don't have no, or my dad. They love us, but I never have no like close relationship with anybody other
Well,
than kind of my
well, hold on a
grandparents. I
second.
don't have
Hold
that.
on
They're
a
just
second.
regular. You know what I
Hold
mean?
on.
Just regular.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I want to back up. All right. I want to back up to this mess because I talk about this shit a lot and I fucking hate it. All right. Now, when this happened to you, I guess one of mom's boyfriends or some guy she was screwing was coming in your room at night and touching on you and shit. Did
Not
you
exactly like that, because I have other people I was around that wasn't in the place actually did things to me. I was never raped, but I had got that happen. But let me tell you, like when I don't know, like
well it well
gradually
it
from.
well it might as well had been rape if they were touching on a child. It might as well had been them raping you. I don't give a shit. I mean, if they
Mhm,
only fucking touched you with a finger, I don't give a shit. It's the same thing to me. There's no
yeah,
variances between it. You fucking with a kid, you fucking with a kid. I don't care what you're doing to them. Now, that being
mhm.
said, so you never told your mom or your grandmom or your pops, obviously, because if you'd have told your pops, the person would probably be dead. So
The
you
reason, oh yeah, sorry, brother
so
X.
how come you never told your mom that this was happening to you?
Well, the reason I never told mom because one, I didn't feel no kind of hurt way. I did mention to the school one incident because one time it was the incident at the school, brother X. I went to a
Hmm.
private school. That was one of the occasions too. That was the only one I actually told, and I think that didn't go farther. They were trying to say I lied. I don't know
Hmm.
how, but the janitor, I remember this like yesterday at the private school I had went to around, I forgot what grade it is, seventh or something, seventh. And I was like went to the restroom or something. I think I just started my thing or whatever at the time, and I was walking in the hallway, and it was a private school little, and the janitor took me to the closet, and then he was trying to touch me, and eventually I guess that day or some, I told some teacher or whatever, and it didn't get further. I guess he got off. But all the times that I happened to, it was that. So I guess, yeah, it is great. But that was one incident that I get told, you know. I don't know if it was to my mom. I think a teacher, and I think they told my mom. But my mom, generally, I didn't talk to her about stuff. We didn't have no close relationship like with her. And my mom, she's not just those things I told you, but she's one of those people that I'm still trying to figure it out with, you know, people, because I'm trying to figure out a lot of things still. But my mom, I kind of realized, I don't know, like, we grew up like, well, my mom did. I didn't. My mom is, you know, Catholic, but she don't practice it. But not now. But that's how my mom grew up. Cause like we're from like Louisiana, and my blood, you know, we're like from there, so we're mixed. But how I grew up, my mom didn't practice religion the whole time. She didn't practice no Christianity. But later in my life, when I was getting bigger, she was so-called Christian. She was practicing religion, and she was when I was in high school and middle school, I was liking a lot of things. And mind you, we was good kids. We was good kids, no problems. But you know, we had a bad life. But yeah, I was liking a lot of stuff, and my mom wasn't for it, and she threw like the stuff away that I liked. It was a lot of posters and shirts I like. I have to sneak from my friends and stuff that I probably wouldn't have because my mom wouldn't get me nothing like that. I don't know about my dad because my dad, he did read the Bible, but he probably wouldn't either. But we weren't around my dad. I know my auntie and my dad didn't like the stuff, some of the stuff I like, because that's why I liked it what I like. But I also liked that because it's me, you know. Sometimes there's not a wrong or a right with things that people do and like, you know what I mean? Like what I'm talking about, you know? But
So
my mom, she's so-called religious, and she would call me evil for liking that stuff. She threw my stuff away. And, you know, when I was in high school, she this is way, you know, past like the other stuff that happened that I probably mentioned or didn't mention. This is like during high school times when I'm almost out of school. She would tell this nosy neighbor that she didn't like, that always sat outside, that was, you know, so of course religious too, I guess Christian, but a religious person. And she would tell that neighbor about, you know, because my mom was so-called Christian religious, that, you know, this is evil. She has this, Jasmine has this, and I threw this away. And this is evil. And she got her over just to come over for that in our house when she don't really want anybody in her house, and she don't really do that. But she did come over just for that, and I was mad. And I haven't run away a lot in my life, but I used to run away like 2 times ever, to my knowledge, and that was around that time because she brought the neighbor over, the nosy lady that she didn't like, that was so-called religious Christian or something, and
so
she was like, "Well, Van
why did you
Halen."
run away? Why did you run away? Why'd you run
Oh, my
away?
mom, she was, I don't know, I don't know, like, it's hard to say
Be-
because she's a parent and I wasn't doing anything wrong, I don't think, because I wasn't cursing, writing anything, but it was solely
Were were you running
revolving
away
on
from
that.
were you running away from your mom and how she was treating you? Were you running away from that? Is that why you
Yeah,
were running?
because,
Why? What was she
yeah,
doing to you?
that
What was
time,
she doing to you?
well, that day when I was sad and ran away, I don't know exactly what happened. She was embarrassing me because she was like, okay, these people are evil, Van Halen's evil, these bracelets, you know, that I used to wear are evil, and stuff like that. These poster shirts, and they wear this. These people are evil, that kind of thing. That's who my mom was, and you know, that's my experience too. So, you know, she was like that with me, but she felt that way with all of us. But I was the only one different like that when it came down to that. Of course, you know, because everybody's kind of different in some way, but I was the only
So
general child that was
so
different like that.
so how how did these things affect you as you were growing? I mean,
Um, it was
did you
bad and good. because it's hard, brother X, because like you say and other people say, you of course, like, with anything you go through, you're either gonna, like, of course it makes sense to do what you're taught. That's how I think. That's what makes sense, to do what you know and taught in any way. But then of course, nobody, no matter who you've been around, who you listen to, you don't do everything that you're supposed to, or not supposed to do. You don't do just generally everything that you know to do, or you know. So of course, I mean, I came out really good. That's what I think, you know, because I actually have, you know, but I had a hard time, and I still feel bad because my mom, she's, you know, even though she's out of my life, she's trying to ruin my sister's life in different way. She's trying to run my sister's life, so called, because I didn't know what my mom was doing, but it's kind of like similar to what she was doing to us, because we didn't have a good life, and like she bring all these different guys around, and then between, you know, from when I was coming up until, you know, until I was 19, 20, yeah, 19, and not all of them were bad, but that's my experience. And at the private school, I was touched, and then I guess that was 7th grade, whatever. And then after that, she, you know, wherever we was living, she had this one friend that she met, I guess, from work, and then he used to come over, and I don't know, just a cool regular guy. And then later on, he used to try to, like, if I was in the living room or in the little another kind of part of the room, not my room, when no one was around, he would try to talk with me or something like that, you know, try to touch me, but he never like got to do that.
What do you mean
But
by
then,
try to? What do you mean by try to talk with you? What do you mean?
you
Like,
know, try to touch me and do things like he tried to like get with me, like
mm.
a young underage person, you know what I mean? Like,
And you never told anybody. You never said, "Hey, look, mom,
no. And then
this
another one
your
of
damn
my
your
mom's
damn
friends,
boyfriend is touching
when
me."
I was in middle school, before that incident, another one of my mom's friends that she used to know from the apartments, this like
So
later on, but this guy,
hold up a second,
he was just
hold on
some
a second,
Jamaican guy that lived by himself, and you know,
hold, hold on a
that
second.
was, you know, my mom's friend. That's what he was. That's what he called himself. I don't think
So
my mom ever did it with any of them guys, but I don't know. But still, they was,
hold on.
you know,
Well,
her, the guys that she run
hold on
around
a
us,
second,
and her
hold on a
friends.
second, hold on a second.
And
Now you're
what I was gonna
saying
say,
that you're
yeah,
saying you're saying that this happened
mm,
to you multiple times by people that your mom knew, or that your mom were dealing with, or they were her friends, her boyfriends, there's
my
something.
environment.
So it happened to you more
Yes,
than once. So,
yes.
and you never said anything to mom.
So we were struggling. I've been through stuff. That's the only thing I think I've been through that my siblings didn't go through. The touching thing, because when we were in the hotel, one of the hotels, this was before these incidents, I was in a swimming pool, and then I walked around the side of the apartments, and there was some guy, some I don't know, Mexican guy or something, tried to lure me into his van and try to like get me to like pull down my swimsuit, shoulder swimsuit, my bathing suit. But I didn't do it. I ran away. So I've had, you know, different like bad kind of like not really good experiences from my mom not being with my dad, and she just, you know, getting the child support or whatever. Because I remember my mom just one time talking about that on the
So,
phone with my dad.
multiple guys,
Other than that, I
tr-
don't know what went on with them. I know, like, it seems
multiple
like
guys.
my mom chose, you know, she chose this, like you were saying, because I didn't know none of this stuff. I knew what happened to us and me, but I didn't know none of this extra stuff that
Yeah,
you
well,
talk
this is the
about. I'm
thing.
just trying to make
This is the
sense of it.
thing. This is the thing, Lady Jazz. The
And I didn't
fact that
have
you
no one on my side.
the fact of you growing up poor and growing up in poverty, yeah, I know that's rough, but that doesn't excuse the fucking creeps touching on you. I mean, I think what often happens is when you're a child and you're growing up and you're living in poverty and you see your mom struggling and we are indoctrinated to protect old mama. We're indoctrinated to protect her. So we don't want to go and tell her that one of her friends is touching on us. We don't want to go and tell her that her boyfriend is coming in our room at night because, see, we are trying to protect mama.
Hey
We're so
guys.
concerned with mama that we don't even understand what's happening to us and how wrong it is. And not only that, mom isn't putting out the vibe like she's concerned. All right. She's not putting out the vibe like she's concerned with your
Hey guys.
well-being. So, of course, you probably didn't want to go and tell her because mom was probably more preoccupied with her boyfriends and whatever the hell else she was doing, as opposed to making sure y'all was all right. That sound about right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So the reason why I talk about this stuff, Lady Jazz, and like I said, I mean, you're a very young girl, all right? You're younger than my youngest daughter, all right? The reason why I talk about this stuff is because I know it's so pervasive within Black society. Now, people get on here and we talk blackity black to black, and we talk about the future of Black society, but we never dig down and talk about none of this shit, because, see, like you, a lot of us came from it. Like you, a lot of us know other people who dealt with it. Like you, we had mamas who not only ignored it and denied it, but also facilitated it. And when I say facilitated it, I don't mean they facilitated it directly. They facilitated because of their fucking lack of concern, their lack of seeing red flags, or their lack of being your parent. And they open the door for these type of things to take place. You understand?
Hi, baby.
So, I mean, this is why I do these things. This is why I talk about this shit, because we need to talk about it. Okay. I see, I'm listening to you talk. All right. I'm listening to you talk. And I don't mean to tell you what to do, young lady, but you probably might want to think about getting some therapy. You might want to think about that, because from what I'm hearing, you went through a lot of shit. You went through some shit that a lot of Black folks go through. And they go through this stuff. And the sad thing is, when you grow up thinking that the shit is your fault. But I'm here to tell you that's not your goddamn fault. It's your black ass mammy's fault. All right? It's her fault because she allowed it to happen to you. All right? It's her fault. Of course, the creeps that were doing it, they are to blame too. But those creeps would have never had access to you if your mom didn't give them access to you. If your mom didn't make it so easy for them to have access to you. So I don't want you to think that any of this shit is your fault. And listening to you talk, because I've talked to, I don't know how many girls, I don't know how many women I've talked to about this stuff. And one thing y'all all have in common is that a lot of y'all think it's y'all fault. Y'all think it's y'all fault that this shit happened, but it's not. It's her fault. It's her fault. And at some point, you're going to have to confront this stuff. You're going to have to confront this. And like I said, you may need a little bit of therapy, young lady, but you're going to have to confront this. And you know what else you're going to have to confront? Your old mammy. You got to confront her too. I mean, I tell you the same thing that I tell the brothers. You got to tell your mama that you remember all this shit. Because see, old mom think you have forgotten. She's hoping you've forgotten. She's hoping you've forgotten about it. And be prepared for her to accuse you of lying. And also be prepared for her to say she don't remember. But don't fucking believe her. She's lying. She remembers all this shit. Now, Don't expect an apology. It's not coming. Yeah, the old apology for mom is not coming, but you're not doing it for an apology. You're not doing it for an apology. You're doing it so you can be free. You're doing it so you can be free. It's not for you. I mean, it's not for her. You're not doing it for her. You're doing it for you. Because obviously, the things that were going on with you, they have affected you. They've affected you. All right. You're carrying it with you now, and you will carry it for the rest of your life. But that's not the bad part. That's not the bad part. It's only going to be bad if you don't go ahead and confront it. You spoke earlier, you talked about how you weren't allowed to talk about things. That's not uncommon because we are known to keep the secrets in Black society. That's just something that we do. We love keeping the secrets. Don't tell nobody what's going on in this house. Don't talk about what's going on in this house. So what do children do? If mama boyfriend is coming in said house and touching on you, that's going on in the house. So you've been indoctrinated not to say anything to anyone, even her. Why? Because she's giving off the vibe that she don't want to hear it, even though it's your welfare on the line. It's your well-being on the line. It's your mental state, your emotional state. All of that stuff is on the line. But what often happens with these old mamas is they make that seem like it's not important. That's secondary to everything else. That's secondary to her good time. That's secondary to her having a man around, and so on and so on. So let me ask you this. When did you leave your mom's house? When did you leave your mom's house?
Um, 2 years ago.
Okay. And did you leave because of this, or did you just leave? Did she throw you out? How did you end up leaving?
Um, my mom picked me out because of something that really wasn't there. You know how, like, no matter with who, like, when somebody has something like the upper hand over you, that, it's like something that they can take away or they have more power over you for whatever reason. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to say? That kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, like the mom thing. Um, well, what happened was one morning because it was quiet, I heard my mom and this guy, like, not, the guy that she brung around, the last guy,
Mm-hmm.
not the guy that she married, because this guy, I didn't know him, I don't know him, and he wasn't there. This is a different guy before that. She was in her room with him, and
Mm-hmm.
I heard, them, making love like,
Oh.
humans do.
So
I heard it. It
you
was out.
you heard mom getting smashed by her boyfriend. You heard
Yeah, I
mom
heard
getting
that.
smashed.
And then
Okay.
I went in the what do you call it? In our house, we had a little area where it was like the front, like the nice houses, they're all made different, but it was just an area. It's like, I guess it can be, I don't think it could be a dining room, or it could be, I don't know what kind of room it was. It was a small room that was like in front of the house. So when you look out, you'll see the yard, but it was the room where it was open, but it was a room like right by the front door, way away from their room. Cause we had a one-story house, and it had the monitor, the computer. It was just a room. I was in there, and it had a phone, and I was just talking like, girl stuff with my stepsister. Cause the girl I was talking to was the stepsister of the guy that, you know, um the daughter of the guy that my mom was, with,
Mm-hmm.
that she was with, not for long, but I don't know. I think she was trying to marry him. But they were doing it, and I was called her and was talking about it. And I guess my mom found out, and she was passing it off as if I was trying to tell her what to do, because the fact that she found out, when no, I didn't say nothing wrong. I didn't tell my mom what to do, and just based off of that fact, that got me kicked out because she was fussing at me, like, because she's a mom, and she's like, I can do what I want, and things like that. And she was trying to make it like I was telling her what to do because I was on the phone telling the girl that I heard, because my mom was out. It was early in the morning. I was the only one up, and I don't think I told my brothers and sisters, but I told the girl, his daughter and stuff.
So
So that's how I
so
got kicked out. And I wasn't like, actually doing nothing wrong. I was just spitting out there and talking like to my stepsister about,
so
they was like, they were loud, and I was just making fun
so
of that, and they were, but
so
I
she
didn't do
got
nothing wrong to get kicked out. Nothing. I
she
didn't do
got
anything.
she got mad at you.
He was using
She
that.
got she got mad at you because you heard her and her man in there fucking. And you go and I guess you call, one of the other girls and say, hey, mom and they're fucking and they're making a lot of noise. And she and
Yes,
she
that's what
she
happened.
found out. She found out. Yeah, I'm gonna do the shorthand version of what you just said. So you hear them in there fucking. And you get on the phone and you call, one of your little girlfriends. You say, hey, look, mom and they're fucking and they making all kinds of noise. She finds out that you said that and she gets mad and puts you out because you were talking about it, right? Is that that's
Yes,
what you're
that's
saying?
what happened. That kind of thing. Not the
Okay.
thing that some parents think just because, they try to like not all but my mom was that kind of person. And I think a lot of parents could be, but not all. Like, like somebody who's trying to lie could just because you're mentioning the topic kind of thing, you know what I mean? But you want to
Mm-hmm.
like make it about what you want to make it about. That's how I see it, because that's what it was, and I don't know how else to say it, because I was not a bad child. I was not being smart. I wasn't saying, oh, you can't do this. It was just, of course, you were loud, and I didn't knock on my mom's door or anything. I was up and like I said, and I heard them, and you can't help but to hear them. And that's how I know when my mom and my dad, when I was younger, because I was the only child, and I didn't hear them, but I walked in on them like 2 or 3 times in 3 different situations. One when I was
So
real little, and this other time when we were in apartments when she wasn't trying to be with my dad, but she let him come around for whatever reason, and she just sleep with him. And I don't know, I didn't see him too much after that. But like I said, I got all my siblings. They was from my dad, except the one that was after me is a boy. And my dad had told me around the time, just randomly, somewhere when I was with my dad, that he wasn't he wasn't his, like my brother, but
so
the rest is my dad's.
so it wasn't unusual. So it wasn't unusual for you to walk in on your mom getting banged out. You saw that many times. You walked in
Yeah,
on her
like
many
4
times.
times. Mhm.
Mom got her feet point to the sky. So when you so now when you walked in on stuff like that, did she get mad at you? Like, did she make it seem like you were doing something wrong because you happened to walk in and mom in there with her damn feet pointed to the sky? Did she make it seem like it was your fault, like you had did something really, really wrong?
Cause no, brother X, you remember, like, no, it didn't happen that way. Cause I remember I told you, the the 3 times I seen it was with my dad, and it was like, I was kind of real young, like,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't
But you knew
know,
what they were doing.
under 6. When cause
But
I used to go into bed with my mom and dad, and that was the
but you
time,
but
that one
but you knew
time.
what they were doing. You knew what they were
Yeah,
doing,
yeah,
right?
later. Yeah,
So
I knew some way, some reason, because I walked in on them when I was younger. Remember my mom, dad, and then that time with that guy. Yeah, so yeah, of course. hmm But no, she
so
didn't.
so seeing that, seeing that stuff, was that part of the thing that kept you from telling your mom, when her boyfriends and these dudes and she had around and shit? What did that make you reluctant to tell her, what was going on, that these dudes are trying to touch you and shit like that? I mean, did that play a part in it because you had walked in on a few times and, you know, she got her legs pointed to the ceiling, and, you know, did that make you think some type of way as far as, you know, her boyfriends being around and trying to do shit to you? Did that have an effect on your mind state and make you think like, you know, this is what's supposed to be happening? Like that's what I'm trying to get at.
Kind of yes and no, not necessarily, because when I got touched, remember, since the fact that in my life I wasn't like, actually, I know it was wrong because I've heard of it, and you still hear that kind of stuff, like pedophiles, molest. I grew up, knowing that, like other people, that kind of thing, which happened to me, but I've never been like, have ever, been the person like on the other end where it's similar, where you actually been raped. I guess the word molest, but I'm with you, rape or whatever. I've never had nobody actually hurt me other than how my parents hurt me. And shoot, the other thing I didn't mention is, man, I was used to, like, we used to get beat. My mom used to slap me, and we got beat with the belt buckles, and got bad whips on us. And yeah, my mom was the type. My dad didn't see it, but he probably felt kind of like that, like a lot of people. But my mom was the type. She's like, she didn't say it all the time, but she did say it before. Whatever's happened in this house, stay in this house. And then when we got beat or whipped by something, for some reason, when we got whipped really bad, because we did, like a lot of people coming up, we weren't supposed to tell. It was, it was said in a way where it was like something where I know I was getting hurt, and
Well, did your
yes, it
mom
was
tell you that?
normal.
Did your mom
No,
tell you that? Did your mom
yeah,
say, did she say, don't say nothing about this, girl? Don't say shit. Just
no, she didn't
shut
say
up.
it like that, T.P.O.T. She did what I seen, what I felt was, oh, like, okay, this was normal for me because I know it was normal for other people, T.P.O.T. So
Mm.
while the fact that, like anything that somebody can't not supposed to say for whatever reason, it wasn't
So,
one of those things. I did something, you're not supposed to say something because you're gonna get in trouble. It was one of those things where, of course, the parent probably didn't want you to tell what they did, even if they didn't do something completely, totally wrong
yeah.
to you. But it was a thing to where, I guess, either CPS, because I don't know how we got out of CPS, because one time we were almost about to go, but our life, we could have been at CPS, but like no one knew we was going through that, like I said. But anyways, we was getting beat bad with paddles and belt buckles, and we was getting like slapped. I got slapped. I didn't see my sisters, brothers get slapped. Maybe they did once or whatever, but we was getting whipped with the belt and belt buckles, and just she
Oh,
just beat us real bad, yeah.
so
And
when she was
we have to stand on one
stand
foot.
on,
My dad used to do that. Not one
mm,
foot, stand in the corner and things like that.
and
So yeah, we had
she would go across you with the belt buckle.
yeah, like we had bad whips on us. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, I don't know, like you just didn't think to tell. That's what I'm saying, T.P.O.T. It was like, for me, one of them things that I'm thinking, I didn't see it, but I knew it happened because I
Yeah.
had from somewhere, knew from somebody somewhere getting talked about it, about either my
Well,
mom or
you was
somebody.
trying
It was a
to
thing.
protect your old mama. That's why you wasn't telling. You was trying to
Yeah, but
protect
yeah,
her.
I was,
Even
but
though
T.P.O.T, like
she
I
was
said,
beating the shit out of you, you were still trying to protect her. It's okay to say it because that's
yeah,
what
I
you were doing.
was.
That's what you were
Yeah,
doing. You were trying to
but
protect mama from the white folks. That's why you never said anything.
yeah,
But
but also
this what you got
T.P.O.T.
to understand. This what you got to understand though. Mama
Yeah,
wasn't trying to protect you. You see how that works? You were the child. Mama was not trying to protect you. You were the kid. You shouldn't have had to have protected, try to protect her from the white folks. Mama was supposed to be protecting you from the neglect, the abuse, and all her fucking boyfriends who was coming in your fucking room at night. Do you understand that?
Mhm. Mhm.
She was supposed to be protecting you from that shit. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
had to be protecting her from the white people, CPS, the people at the school. That wasn't your job, young lady. Do
Mhm.
you understand that? Do you
Yep.
understand that?
Mhm.
She was supposed to be the protector, not you. You're the kid. See how that works? But she
Mhm.
has you indoctrinated to think that all of this shit is normal. Because I heard you say, you said T.P.O.T, this felt like it was normal. Of course it felt like it was normal. But newsflash, young lady, it was not. It wasn't normal. It wasn't. You see that now that you're an adult, right? Now that you're an adult, you look back on that shit
Mhm.
and you say, hey, this wasn't normal. But when you were a kid, mom had you thinking that it was, didn't she?
Yeah, but can I bring something else to your attention, TPOT, since you would know, being like from a lot of things that you say that make sense, because
Mhm.
now I
Go
can,
ahead.
you're
Go
pretty
ahead.
fair, you make sense, you talk about a lot of awesome stuff. I was gonna say it's mainly is that, but I didn't always see that coming up because I'm thinking about also, which a lot of people can probably relate to, when I was coming up, I used to know of the fact that, a lot of just general people, they didn't got beat. They are supposed to get beat for whatever just because they're the kid. And then I know that not because my grandma, because, my grandmas or anything like that. It was like, I know like my mom, people like from whatever time before around that time, they used to get like a switch or something. And so I was
Mhm.
scared. I thought it was normal. I just didn't say nothing. I don't think I could say nothing because I don't know, like, of course I'm the kid, but I didn't know what to think because my mom was of course kind of strict, and she wasn't right. It was just really hard, just really hard because I didn't really know what to do at a lot of times. Just
So
because
so you
I
still
didn't
got
know.
you still have younger brothers and sisters still living with your mom right now, right? How old are
Mhm.
how old are your siblings that are still living with your mother now? How old are they?
Um.
Are they like teenagers or are they little? They
Yeah, they're teens. One is
okay,
18. One
okay,
is um. One is 18. One is 15, 14, and 11, and
okay,
9. So
okay.
yeah.
So she still got like little kids there. Uh, does
Mhm.
well, you don't live there no more, so you probably wouldn't know. Are you in contact with your younger brothers and sisters? Are you in contact with them at all?
No, but I was gonna say I have one sister. She don't live there.
Hmm.
Like she don't live there anymore since last year.
She moved out too.
Mhm.
Your younger sister moved out too.
And the thing is,
Was she
she
going through the
I was
same
gonna,
shit? Was it happening to her
yeah,
too?
no, not the touch thing. I don't think that was happening to everything else I said, but the touch thing, that was only happening to me. That was only my experience because every time
Mm,
I was by
okay.
myself
Okay.
with all the situations, and nobody knew but me and the crazy person who was trying to do that, the perp or whatever, like on Law and Order. But I was gonna say something. I don't know if I should say it. It's not real bad. But my mom, I wanted to mention something else when it came on. My sister, she had a kid, and my mom, she's kind of trying to like keep the kid and trying to take the kid away from my
Mm.
sister and make it seem like keep the kid and try to like raise it on her own as hers. That's another thing my mom's trying to do. My sister, she's trying to like try to like in a way, like make it to where like get the kid away from my mom, but my mom, she don't really want to give it to her,
Mm.
and we're kind of like trying to wonder if like how the
So
custody thing goes, because I don't think
so
my mom
so
has
where's the kid?
custody, but my mom's
Where's the kid at
um
now? Where's the kid at now? Is it over there with your mom or with your sister? Where's the kid at now?
is with my mom because we was all living with my mom,
Oh,
and my sister had the kid,
so your
and
mom took the kid. Your mom took the baby.
yeah,
She took
she's
it.
kind of keeping it from my sister, like, and trying to make it seem like um she wants to, like, make it to where, you can't take the kid, and then she's trying to like get custody of the kid, and I think she's trying to like make it like she knows how to take care of the kid, and she doesn't want my sister to have her kid and be raised
Okay.
with her. And I'm thinking this has to be evolved from how we was coming up, because she never had a kid. None of us never did anything or whatever for you to be doing that. And then I'm trying to figure out that, because I'm like, my mom's not right. And I'm trying to figure out how the custody thing goes, because I'm like, she's like, I don't get how she can do that,
Yeah, me neither. So
but
so
she's doing that though.
is she
Nobody
is
knows
she
but us.
so she's
Mhm.
trying to take the kid. She's trying to take custody of the baby. Is that
Yeah, she wants to like keep the kid and raise it, and she don't want my sister to have her kid and be able to raise it. She
why?
wants to raise
Because
the kid how she
do
wants and raise the kid on her own, and she
what
wants to be.
do she think your
Mhm.
sister can't take care of it? But your
I
sister's
think
grown though,
so.
right? Your sister's not young, right? She's grown, right?
Yeah,
She's already
she's
grown.
she's 18.
So she had the baby, the mom took it, and now mom's trying to keep it. Basically, that's what's going on. Mom's trying to keep the baby from the sister. And you and your sister are trying to get the kid from your mom. Do I have that correct? That's what's happening. Y'all are trying to get the baby from your mom because mom done just took the kid. Is that what you're saying? No shit. I lost her, y'all. I lost her. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of tough, y'all. Because when you have these stories, man, it's like kind of pulling teeth at times. But me, I'm going to get to the meat of it. You back? Are you
Yeah,
back?
I don't.
Can you hear
It
me?
went off. Sorry.
Okay. All right. What I was asking you was, you say your mom took the kid, right? Mom has the kid now, but mom doesn't have legal custody. She just said, I'm taking this kid and that's that. So you and your
In a
sister are,
way, that's what she's like. Yeah, she's like trying to make it like, what like a lot of people can do when it comes down to a lot of things, try to prevent her from trying to like have her kid and take it. Not like the way that, oh, that was like some fight had went down yet, like that, but that's what my mom is trying to do. You know what I mean? TPOT. So yes,
so
just not in the other way. She wants to keep the kid and raise it another kid. So I don't think my mom can have any more. And I think a long time ago she got her tubes tied, but I
well
don't know
shit.
if she got it undone
she
or
don't she
can.
don't need any more. The way you just finished telling me the way she treated y'all, she don't
Yeah.
need any goddamn more. What she need more for? So she could treat him the way she treated the rest of you? Because it's not like see, this is the thing. It's not like these women have these kids, right? And it's only one kid that gets beat or one kid. No, it's everybody. Every fucking body gets pretty much equally abused. There's a few different variances and nuances here and there, but for the most part, everybody's equally fucking abused. All right, that's just the
Mhm.
truth. And I know it's tough to talk about it because that's your old mammy, but I mean,
Yeah.
you You've been telling us some things, and it feel good to get it out, don't it? Feel good to
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
out, don't it? I know it do. Of course it does. It
Mhm,
feels good to get it out. You got to get it out.
mhm,
Like I tell everybody, you have to face it, young lady. You have to do it. Now, usually when we have these shows, but you know, you one of my followers, you subscribe to me. Usually when we
mhm.
talk about this kind of stuff, you know, I'm usually talking about it from a male perspective, you know, young black boys, you know, young black men. I'm usually talking about it from that perspective. But tonight I have you on, and you're talking about
Yeah.
it from a female perspective, from a girl's perspective, because I know when they abuse you young ladies, I know it's different. It's a different type of abuse. Some of it is similar, you know, the beatings and the neglect and all this bullshit. But see, one thing about y'all girls, y'all are more prone to, you know, the sexual shit and the molestation and
Yeah.
all that kind of shit. Y'all are more prone to that kind of stuff on top of the fucking beatings and the abuse and shit like that. So I mean, like I said, I mean, you watch me all the time. You know I talk about this shit, and I know there's plenty of times that you watch me and you're like, God damn, did this motherfucker live in our house? Because the stories are so similar. You understand? The
Mhm.
stories are so
Yeah.
similar. I knew, notice before you said anything, and when you said that your pops wasn't around and she had boyfriends, I knew that the motherfuckers are coming in there touching on you and shit.
Mhm.
I knew
Yeah.
that she beat on y'all and shit. I know she neglected y'all and shit like that. I know she was fucking and having a good old time around y'all, and that because the stories are so similar. The stories they're all the fucking same for the most part. Some of them are just
Mhm,
worse than others, but they're all the same. But I'm going to tell you this, the same thing I tell the brothers, right? I'll say
mhm,
this again. Doing stuff like this helps, all right? But this isn't the silver bullet. This isn't the silver bullet, madam. The silver bullet is confronting it and convincing yourself that it wasn't your fault, despite of what your old mammy's saying. Because see, your mammy gonna make it seem like it's your fault. All right, that's just who they are. They can't help themselves because they don't want to fucking own anything. They are going to
mhm,
make it seem like it's y'all's fault that this happened, but it's not. It's her fucking fault. She had the motherfuckers over there, not you. You were the
mhm,
kid. You
mhm,
were the kid. It was her job to fucking protect you, not your job to protect her from the white folks, from the police, from the school, from CPS. It was her job to protect you from them creeps she was bringing in the house and fucking. Do you understand that? It was
mhm.
her job to do that. So I don't want you to spend the rest of your life thinking it was your fault, because it wasn't. I tell you the same thing that I tell the brothers. It wasn't your fault. And once you realize that it wasn't your fault, that's when you will truly be free. Do you understand?
Yes.
But carry on. Finish telling us about this nightmare. Finish
Yeah.
telling us.
Um, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, it was bad, and we're trying to, because my mom's trying to, with my sister thing, she's trying to like take her to court, you know, potentially to like get her on some child support, her, and try to find out who the dad is to get him on child support. I don't know
What?
why. Not my sister. Yeah, she's
That's
trying
what
to like keep.
your
Yeah,
mom's doing that? Your
yeah,
mom is doing that.
yeah.
Jeez.
She's trying to keep the kid, keep my sister's kid to raise it up on her own, cause she don't want to think my sister can do it, not for no good reason, but cause of my mom just wants to for her reason. You know what I mean? For that, I don't think that's right, right?
So
'Cause we was good. We had, like that, you
So
know,
what?
talk like smart. But other than that, we didn't get in no trouble at all.
So
So
what are
going off
you?
that,
So what are you and your sister doing right now? Are y'all fighting? Are y'all
no,
fighting
we're
mama
not.
on this shit? Or y'all just gonna let mama do whatever she wanna do with the baby?
No, I'm trying to figure out and look up and try to see and ask some people if like what to do and why is this happening? Because I didn't ever thought something like this would happen. But I talked to her, but not a lot. Not every day, my sister, but you know, like we haven't told any of our family about any of this. It's just, you
You
know,
keep
what my
you're
mom's
keeping
trying to
the
do with the
secrets.
baby.
Y'all are keeping the secrets. And that's another thing. You have to
Hmm.
stop keeping the secrets. I'm tell you the same thing that I tell the brothers. You have to stop keeping the fucking secrets. You have to stop it. That's the power that your old mammy got over you. Because she know
Yeah.
you gonna keep the damn secrets. You ain't gonna tell nobody. You're not gonna reach out and talk to nobody that could possibly help y'all in y'all situation. Because see, even though y'all are grown, y'all are still fucking trying to protect the old mama. You're still trying to do it. You are
Yeah,
still
it just seems like
trying
that,
to
right?
protect her. Yeah, you're still trying to protect her. And you
We
shouldn't be
gotta
trying to
end it.
protect her because she's doing shit. Why would you try to protect her? Don't you know that is the true power of these old mamas. That is the true power that they have over you. They know you're not going to go out there and say anything to anybody. That's the same thing you were doing when you were a child. Keeping
Hmm.
the fucking secrets. You have to stop doing it. You do. That's the only way
Okay.
you're going to be free. I'm sorry to say, young lady, that's the only way you're going to be free. It's the only way. Stop keeping mama's secrets.
Okay.
You have to. You have to, because if you don't, if you continue to keep mama's secrets and take mama's secrets to your damn grave, you're just as bad as her. Because see, all the shit that she done to you and your brothers and sisters, do you ever think her black ass gonna apologize to you for that shit? She's gonna
No.
she's she's gonna take that shit right to the grave, and she gonna lay on her fucking deathbed and slip right on into the darkness, never fucking saying she's sorry for none of that shit. That's why I say
Mhm.
don't look for an apology, because the apology is not coming. When you confront her and confront this, you're doing it for you, not for her. Because your old mama gonna slip on off into the dark side, never fucking showing any attrition for anything. She's not. She could be laying on her fucking deathbed, and goddamn it, she will never look up and say, I'm sorry, baby, for that bullshit I did when you was 7 or 8 or 9 or 5. No, it's not coming. That's why I say you must do it for you. You have to do it for you. Then you will be free. Because, see, as long as you keeping her secrets, she still has a hold on you. She still got a hold on you.
Yeah.
You have to break free of it, young lady. I'm telling you, you have to. You got to do
Okay.
it. You gotta. And I don't expect it to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but it's well worth it. Don't let your mama continue to hold you fucking prisoner with her bullshit. All right? Don't. Because that's
Okay.
what she relies on, because that's how she fucking controls you, even though you don't live in her house anymore.
Yeah,
She's still
that's kind of what's happening. Hmm.
she's still controlling you, even though you've moved out. Because see, you won't even tell nobody what's going on. You won't even tell nobody what happened to you when you was a kid. She still has control over you. You have to break free. You have to. You've taken the first step. You've moved the fuck out. You've moved out.
Mhm.
So that's the first step. You said you've been out your mom's house a few years now, right? So you've been out of the house
Yes.
for a while. So now you have to finish. So you got to cut that motherfucking umbilical cord. You have to cut it. Yeah, you got to cut it. You must cut it. And I know we as black folks, we love our black ass mama. She's everything. She's the golden calf. None comes before her. There's no one better. She is the giver of life. She is the queen of all. But listen to old X. X says that's bullshit. It's not true. Especially when your old mama treats you like shit. She treats you like shit. Let motherfuckers molest you. And all this kind of nonsense. Motherfuckers in your room at night. She cross your damn head with belt buckles and sticks and bullshit. I mean, that's not a person worthy of worship. They barely worthy of love, let alone worship. They're not worthy of worship.
Mhm.
And until you figure that out, you will never be free. Do you understand?
Okay.
You will never be free. You have to. You have to cut the ties. Tell your
Yeah.
sister the same. Tell your sister the same thing. Tell your sister get her fucking baby from her, because y'all already know what kind of fucking mama she is. It's not like she gonna treat that kid better than she treated y'all. You would hope that would be the case, but probably not. But then again, I don't know. She's older. They have a tendency to do things a little different when they get older. They get a little older, they grow up, the crow's feet settle in, and the ass droops, the titties sag, and Negroes ain't trying to holler no more. They turn into different
Yeah.
people. They get in the church, they sitting there with the fucking tambourine, praise the Lord, they seeking
Yeah.
penance for all the bullshit they did to you when you was a kid. Yeah, they're seeking penance. But that shit there is just a fucking cover. That's just a cover. That's all it is. Because guess what? 20 fucking years ago, ass wasn't probably sitting in no damn church shaking a tambourine. She was somewhere shaking her fucking ass. So that's all a cover too. So I know the things I say are harsh and cruel. But when you go to bed tonight and you laying there, you thinking about them, you'll be like, man, that shit X was saying was pretty accurate. Because I want you to be free. Because I think this shit fucks up a big segment of black society. I think this is where many, not all, but many of black society's problems originate from the shit that happens to us when we kids, the beatings, the abuse, the neglect, the sexual molestation. These are the things that fuck black people up. These are the things, man. This is where a lot of it starts. This is where a lot of it starts. And if we can nip this shit in the bud and we can free some black folks, who knows? You might can improve black society, because you got a lot of people like yourself, like your siblings, who grow up and walk around, and y'all walking around carrying this shit with you your whole life. And we like to pretend like it doesn't matter. It does fucking matter. It matters. Why you think I talk about it so much? Notice I talk about it more than many of these other motherfuckers up here. They always talking about black society and the future of black society. But notice how motherfuckers never talk about the shit that goes on inside black houses. Notice how motherfuckers don't talk about the shit that happens with these black children. They don't talk about the sexual molestation and the fucking abuse and these old fucking mamas who treat these fucking kids like shit. Notice, you never hear that too much, right? But you always hear it here, though, right? On the T.P.O.T YouTube page, Because, like I said, this is where many of the problems in black society start. And we don't want to talk about it. That's why I'm glad you came up tonight. I know it probably wasn't easy to get up here and talk about this stuff. I know it's not. It can't be easy to get up here, and indict your old mammy. It's rough. It's like it's something inside of us that like whenever we talk about it, we feel like a sharp electrical static going up our back whenever we start talking about it. But trust me, you do it enough, it gets easier and easier and easier. You understand? It gets easier.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you don't owe your mother. I'm going to tell you this. You don't owe your mother the secrecy. You don't owe her the right to not say any of this shit to anyone. You don't owe her the right to keep these fucking secrets. You don't owe her the right to keep carrying this shit around with you like the shit that happened to you was your fault. You don't owe her that. You don't. And I think many of us believe that we do, that we owe this to mama. You don't. You don't. You don't owe it to her at all, young lady. You don't. I tell you, just like I tell the brothers, because I talk to many, many people, but you know that, right? You follow me. You know that. It's not your fault. The shit that happened to you was not your fucking fault. And tell your old mammy I said it's her goddamn fault. Tell her I said it. You ain't even gotta go. You ain't even gotta go and say, you can say, well, I was listening to X from T.P.O.T the other night, and he said all this shit was your fault. And he said, you're just an old mama too. You can say all that shit, all right? You can go and tell her that shit for me. But I appreciate you coming on. I do. Like I said, I know it was tough, talking about this stuff, but we made it through it, and I'm glad, man. I'm glad you came on and discussed it. Good stuff, and feel free, to come back anytime. If you want to come and share your story and talk about it with other folks and all that kind of stuff, because I would like to believe that when people talk about this stuff, man, it helps other people. I would like to believe it helps other people. All right. So any parting words before we peel out? Anything else you want to lay down on the folks before you go?
I was just gonna say one other fact of why some things you don't tell. Like I think like a lot of times with us all, like from most of my experience with whatever happened to me, it seems like I've heard that saying is not a necessarily a saying, but it's something like, you know what I mean, something that someone says a lot with whatever the case is, like a common saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it was like one of those things that I have in my head is like a lot of things that people go through. It's like one of those things I feel that like how I think my mom feels that really too from, what I told you what happened and me not generally having certain automatic things happening in my family anyway. I think a lot of things that happen to people is that some people think is like, okay, oh well, suck it up, it don't matter. I feel that way too, and that's why I feel I can't mention certain whatever things regarding me. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I don't, I don't want you to, I don't want you to think that because that's another thing. When people come on here and they talk about this stuff, I don't want you to think that this is wrong. This is not wrong. The shit that your old mammy allowed to happen to you, that was wrong. You understand? You should be able to talk about this shit because it happened to you. All right? It happened to you. Now, of course, your old mammy will tell you different. Your old mammy will tell you, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. Why the fuck not? It happened to me. It's your story. All right? It's your story. So I don't want you to think that because you came up here that was a wrong thing. I don't believe that. Because I say again, the shit did happen to you. So don't don't feel bad. Don't, none of that shit. Don't none of that shit. You shouldn't feel bad about it. You shouldn't feel anything. You should feel somewhat liberated knowing that you can talk about this shit. That you can talk about this shit. Because it helps. It helps. It's gonna help. And the more you talk about it, I promise you, the easier it's gonna get. And the freer you're gonna feel in the long run. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler. It doesn't get any simpler than that. It doesn't get any simpler than that. It just doesn't. So I want you to understand these things. And you'll see, like I said, I can't say this enough. As you talk about it more, and as you discover it more, and as you start to look at your old mammy and her actions more, that will give you more clarity about yourself. Trust me, it will. It will. You'll see. But like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and you come back anytime. Come back anytime. All right.
Yay. I feel great. Happy talking to you, brother. I think you're a really awesome person, no matter like all the other stuff that we know about you. I think you're doing great and you're really awesome and you helped me a lot.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I could be of service. But you watch me. You already know how it is. You know how we do it up here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You know how we get down here. That's why, I let you know that it's all right to come up here and talk about it. Because, we do these things too. I know we do debates and all that kind of shit, but T.P.O.T, we do this shit too. We do this shit too. All right. We do this shit too. Why? Because I feel like we need to talk about this stuff. I know we like to sit back and pretend like, it don't happen, inside of Black society. It's everybody else. Everybody else is pedophiles. We not. When most of us got pedophiles that we fucking related to. They married to our mamas. They with our sisters. They're our fucking uncles. They're our older cousins. But we try to pretend like none of that's real. Yeah, none of that's real. Nope. The pedophiles are these other people outside of us. Bullshit. Bullshit. How is that when you got 70% of Black girls being raped or molested by the time they're 16 and 25% of Black boys being raped or molested by the time they're 16? But somehow, some way, we have zero pedophiles amongst Black folks. That doesn't make any sense. It ain't white people molesting these kids. It ain't like it's white people. It ain't white people doing it. 80% of the time, it ain't even people outside doing it. 80% of the time is people right within the child's circle of influence. Meaning, some fucking creep that your old mammy has given access to you. That's just the truth. It's not some stranger. I say this a lot. It's not strangers dropping out of the fucking sky, touching on you and going back up. No. It's some fucking person that your mama got around the house. It's some person that your mama leave you at their house. It's Uncle Jimmy. It's Grandpa Jack. It's your cousin. It's somebody. Somebody that has access to you through your mama. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. And it just so happens that most of the fucking time, they're just like you. They're just like you, Jazz. They're just like you. They don't want to say anything. They want to keep the secrets. They want to protect their old mammy. But what y'all got to realize, man, I'll say again, it's not about you protecting old mammy now that you're grown. Mammy should have been protecting you when you were a kid. And once y'all get y'all head wrapped around that, y'all will be running the fucking T.P.O.T to talk about this shit. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming through, and don't forget what I said, and take care of yourself, and you know, it ain't your fault. All right.
He thanks, Brother X, and peace
Got
to
it.
the chat.
All right. Peace. Take
Night,
it easy.
everyone.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, y'all. You know, let me turn my camera on. God damn it. Yeah. I know how we do it here. Because you know, X will eventually pull it out of people. You know, I will pull it out. Oh, good look on that super chat too, brother Side Tice, my brother. You know, I mean, you have to pull this stuff out of people, man. You have to. You have to. You know? And I know y'all hear these stories, man, and you say to yourself, damn, I can't believe this shit is so pervasive inside of Black society. But the fact of the matter is, brother, you have to. Oh, what's good, brother Art? Brother Art, come on up, man. Come on through, brother. Yeah, because I'm going to go ahead and open this up, y'all, if y'all want to jump on here and, you know, give a few words about what's going on. You know, come on up here and if you want to. Because, you know, we hear these stories, y'all, and like I said, you know, we say to ourselves, damn, I can't believe this is so pervasive inside of Black society. But the fact of the matter is, brothers, it is. This shit's very pervasive, man. Why you think I talk about it so fucking much, man? I read the literature, man. I'm always reading the literature about shit like this, man. And not only that, man, I know people who went through this kind of shit. The beatings, the fucking molestation, the abuse and shit. Man, I know people who went through this shit. I know people who dealt with it. I grew up with people who was dealing with this shit. I mean, the woman talked about how mom used to beat her with the fucking belt buckle. Wasn't I just talking about that last week? And people were like, oh, man, I can't believe that happens. It fucking happens, Negroes. It does. And I say again, I think that a lot of Black society's challenges begin right there. From when you're a child, you're getting beaten, you're getting abused, you're getting neglected, you're getting fucking molested. How the fuck can you grow up to be a decent person? The fucking odds are so stacked against you to grow up to be a decent person, man. It's incredible. If you turn out to be a decent person, it's like, you know, it's like something that should be documented. When you go through so much bullshit as a little kid, I mean, if you can manage to grow up to be a decent person after being neglected, beaten, abused, molested, starved, left home by yourself and shit like that, that's quite the feat. That is quite the feat to pull off. But I've been joined by my brother Art and Style. What's good with it, brother?
Oh, yeah, shout out to Portland for getting their ass kicked for talking mess that first game. They're getting the business tonight. They're about to lose right now, like real bad. Anybody can check it. But no offense, but Damian Lillard got a big mouth. But anyhow, they took care of him tonight. But yeah, man, I the conversation you had, I have that on a normal basis. They have no one else to talk to.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're a damn professor and a teacher, so you probably hear about this kind of shit all the time. right?
Yeah, we talk about the man, you know, because I'm a big advocate for the little brothers growing and trying to succeed whatever the endeavors they have, but the little sisters, they don't even have older women to talk to.
Nope.
For the most part, they, you know, because sometimes I'm like, do you any female teachers around here? They say they don't trust them. They don't trust them. So that's another thing that I always like kind of try to tackle, but I'm always trying to navigate them to the right, you know, the right direction, because, you know, I'm in the fraternity, and we are, you know, our sister organization are the Deltas, but I don't know, the sororities. Only time I see them doing things are like debutantes, things like that, or something like the whole family, but not specifically little girls.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm quite sure it's probably existing, but it's hard to find. Because I've been making, you know, I made calls for these little girls. Like, hey, you know, this girl needs your assistance. You know, they need some sisters that can take her under the wing, whatever. I never could make those connections. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because, you know, you know me, Brother Art, you know, I do these kind of shows pretty often. And, you know, the brothers handle it differently than ladies do. You know, the brothers handle it kind of in defiance, if you will. The brothers are defiant against it, you know, once you start talking about it. But the girls are different. I mean, because you can easily get a brother to talk about it, you know, because they come on here, I get them to talk about it. You know, I get them to talk about the abuse and the neglect and all that kind of shit. But the women are a little different. It's like pulling teeth, like tonight. You know, it's like pulling teeth to get them to talk about it, you know, because they've kept the secrets for so long, you know, that, you know, I know with many of them, it's hard to get the information out of them. They don't want to talk about it. I don't know if they embarrassed or they're afraid or they're trying to protect their mama or protect their family, whatever the case may be. But one thing I know about the brothers are a little more vocal. You know, they'll go ahead and talk about it. The women, you got to kind of yank that information out of them. You know, you got to yank it out. You know, you got to pull it out, you know, like one string at a time, you know. Now they'll come up here now. They will come up here and talk to me, because if you look through my archives, I have quite a few of these stories. I have quite a few, because I've had quite a few women come up here and talk about this shit. Just like I've had quite a few brothers come up here and talk about this shit. And the stories are so similar, Brother Art.
Yeah, it's a big step for a lot of these sisters, because they're in situations where dudes be taking advantage of them too. You know, like they're still here to solve story, then all of a sudden a hand go on the knee, and you know, to get them in a vulnerable position. So they're taking a chance talking to the dudes as well.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time, what I normally do, I'm painting, you know, I'm drawing or I'm writing something while they're talking to me, so it won't look like I'm staring at them.
Yeah.
You know, I want them to feel comfortable, but at the same time, you know, I want to be able to at least contribute to the conversation or to the situation. It got to the point, man, in the middle of my class, I had to walk one of my students to I think it was people services, and I had to tell the principal, like, this is an emergency. I have to talk to her social worker, because this is serious. You know, she had two parents that were on drugs. The thing was, I guess well, it wasn't just the parents, but the system was trying to put this little girl in a co-ed housing where the dudes could do anything they wanted to do, man. And she, you know, she had to like lock her stuff up. She was afraid at night because people be sneaking up there, and dang, man. So she's very nervous. She was shaking. I was like, man, I said, let's go. So I sat there. So I pretty much just stepped in as the father role, you know. contrary to popular conversation on these streams, you know, I do feel responsible for our youth. So took her down there, and I was like, you know, me and the social worker, we're going back and forth about what's best for her and everything. But the sad part, the sad ending was she couldn't even leave because she didn't want to split up the siblings. So I was like, man, since you said I can't do nothing, you know, I said I had you hooked up, you know, you're able to get out, but she can't turn. And these are her younger siblings.
Yeah.
So she said she couldn't just turn her back on them. So it tripped me out.
It's tough, man. It's just it's a tough deal, man. You know, you have this shit going on, man, and it doesn't seem like it's lightening up. It doesn't seem like it's changing. So, you know, only thing you can try to do is you know, talk to the people who are adults now, and you know, hopefully they will do what it takes to free themselves, man. You know, I mean, the reason why I do this shit, and I've said this before, man, this is when I talk about this kind of stuff, man, and I bring these folks on, man, it's in honor of all the people that I grew up with that were going through this shit, and I never said anything. I never said anything. I never called the police. I never called CPS. I never, and I knew kids, man, that was suffering like a motherfucker. I knew them. You know, I played ball with them, man. I hung out in the street and shit with them, and they were beaten and bruised and burned, and you know, little girls that you knew were getting fucking molested, man. You could see it in their eyes. You could see it in their fucking reaction when these dudes came around, man. And we didn't say anything, man. We didn't do anything. We didn't, you know.
I'm gonna throw cold water on you. Imagine what all the stories I'm gonna hear when I get back in the spring. And
because you know, brother Art, with everybody home, this shit done picked up.
Yes,
the
sir.
Fucking abuse, the neglect, the whatever, the sexual molestation.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's picked up with everybody, you know, home, and you know, because a lot of times, believe it or not, when these children go to school, man, that's the one time of the fucking day where they can fucking get away from the bullshit that's at the house.
Yeah, because I get them, you know, and the thing, you know, what's crazy, and I know there's another brother here. Is crazy is that I don't really ask. I don't really get into their business, but they just volunteer it because they know I'm a listener and they know where my heart is. And so, and I'm not, like you said, I'm not going to be calling, you know, I mean, if it's real bad, yeah, I got to do something. But just stuff that they can be worked out between the family, you know, I pretty much just try to give them ways to navigate, you know, to try to get them another way of thinking so they won't be caught up in something that irresponsible grown-ups are doing. Yeah. You know, I would do it that way, but not being defiant also.
Yeah. Well, you're a teacher and a professor, you're like a mandated, you're mandated to say something if it's really bad, right? You have to say something.
If it's real bad, I gotta the start is the counselor. You gotta go to the counselor, and then later on the counselor take it from there. And if it continues, then you have to talk to the social worker. You know, you can't talk to the parents about it. Okay. You know, anybody listening, don't talk to the parents. Unless you know them well, you know, if you like related to them, but don't talk to the parents. It makes it
worse. It's just gonna be worse on the kid, right? Because all they're gonna do is take it out on the kid. What the fuck you doing telling that motherfucker what's going on in this house? And go right across their head with that 2x4.
Yeah.
Break that damn broomstick across their head.
A few years back, I think maybe like about 10 years or a little less or more, the biggest issues was students coming out the closet. That was an issue. And they didn't know who to talk to.
So they came to you.
Yeah, some of them came to me. And at first I thought about sending them to a gay teacher. But shit, they take advantage of that shit too. So, like, you cannot see that teacher. Just, you know,
don't go to him.
Yeah, they shut the door and it's all over, man. You know? So
wow,
we had that situation, man. I think the worst one this past year. Check this out, man. I can say it here because I know he ain't listening. Because I think he listens to my channel. But this little brother, man, he had to not granted, this happened when he was in middle school. His mother did a what do you call it, a sex change assignment. So his mother became his father while he was in middle school. So he used to have straight A's. Now, and you know, I guess he was a senior. You know, he had straight F's ever since that happened, man. Damn. And he didn't know how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And at first he was an asshole, you know. And I kept working on him. I said, something wrong, because you ain't no bad dude. Something wrong. And he just like, whatever. I said, something wrong. And then a lunch period came, he sat down and took that deep breath. Then he just told me, and then I was like, damn, man. I said, this is the newest one I ever heard. You know.
Well, I think what happens, and we're going to go to my man Terrence after this. I think what often happens, man, with a lot of parents, man, and it's obvious from, you know, the shit that we see and the shit we heard tonight, that oftentimes, man, parents, they don't pay attention to what, or should I say how, the decisions that they make, how they affect the children. And see, and see, that's the problem for me, because I'm a true believer that you're an adult. Okay, your ass is grown. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I mean, do whatever you want. But when your decisions start fucking with how the children develop, how they grow, whether or not they abuse, whether or not they eat, whether or not they have a house, when your decisions start affecting that shit, that's when it's a problem. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You're an adult. But when your decisions start having an adverse effect on the children, man, that's when it's a fucking problem. That's when it's a problem, and that's when it becomes an issue. It becomes an issue then because, see, like I was telling the young lady that was on here earlier, I said, you were a fucking kid, man. You were a kid. So whatever your mom had going on, you just had to deal with it. When she's running out there chasing these dudes and bringing them back to the house and they in your room at night, you're just a kid. You have to fucking deal with it. You gotta suck it up. She leaving y'all home by yourself and shit. You're a kid. You just gotta deal with the shit. You know? She's doing all this bullshit. She's starving you and going across your head with the broomstick and belt buckles and all this kind of nonsense. You're just a kid. You are forced to deal with it. There's nothing you can do. It's not like you can jump in your car and leave and move out. You're 7 years old. You'll have to deal with whatever your mother puts in front of you. You are forced to deal with it. And a lot of times what happens is, man, these kids are put in fucking situations, man, where they dealing with shit that they shouldn't be having to deal with at all. And that's the rub. That's the problem. But we've been joined with by my man brother Terrence. What's good with it, brother?
I'm good. How y'all doing tonight? How you say it? Art Nutstyle TV?
Art New Style.
Art New Style TV. God bless you, brother. How you doing?
You don't know who Art is?
Nah.
You don't know who Art? Oh, jeez, man. Shame on you. Subscribe to this fucking channel right now.
At people. I don't cuss people out, so I'm not popular.
Okay.
Nah, you good. I'm definitely
subscribe to my brother's channel right goddamn now. I mean that shit.
I got you. I got you. At first, when you was interviewing the young, how old was she? 20 or 28? Because I really didn't hear.
I think she said 21 or 23.
Okay.
She sounds very young.
Yeah, I think she's like 21, 22, something like that. She's young.
Now, I don't know how her shelter stories was, but my shelter stories, it wasn't fun. I remember sleeping in homeless shelters with my mom and my sister before my little brother was born. And we had to sleep in shifts. I remember catching an asthma attack in a homeless shelter at 8 years old with my mom and everything. It wasn't fun. Now I know she was talking about the room and stuff. Like some homeless shelters, you'll have a room and you have to be inside by like 7 or 8 o'clock. I remember that. You know, I remember staying in. We moved from the homeless shelter to an apartment in Brooklyn, and it was really hood. Like we had to be inside at broad daylight. That's how bad it was growing up. And then we moved from there to a homeless hotel in Queens, off the Conduit. I don't want to say the names. I don't want to get it flagged, but get you flagged. But we stayed in a homeless hotel. All of it, me, my mom, my sister, for one.
Well, I know.
One room.
I know where the Conduit is. I have driven up there many, many times. I have driven that strip many, many times, young fella. Many times.
We stayed in our homeless hotel for 2 years. All of us in the room. There's no privacy. Then yeah, that hotel
for 2 years.
2 years. 2 years. Yeah.
Damn.
And I remember, so I relate and I feel for her when she was talking about, that. Like my mom, she got 3 kids, 3 different fathers, and I can relate, the stepdad thing, That's why, a part of me want to go see the female South Carolina because she says she liked me, she feeling me. I want to get to know her. I want to do the family thing, I wanted the family thing because those of us who never had it really want it.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that.
And I follow your channel. I follow your channel. I follow Gav's channel because I can relate to y'all. Cause I always followed the OGs growing up. I was always with the older dudes. I remember. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Brother Terrence. I mean, you've been following me a while. Right?
Yeah.
And you hear the stuff I talk about, and I know you've heard other shows that I've had, dealing with this kind of stuff. Listening to her and listening to these other folks, did you hear similarities? Did you hear a lot of similarities with your own story? Did you hear a lot of similarities?
When old girl was talking, it hit home. I thought she was in my house growing up. Like it was, I felt for her. It was kind of sad, hearing her story. And the problem with a lot of us as black people, we throw out black. Let me tell you something about black parents. You're not one of those black parents, but the black parents of my generation, the people who were born 89 and up, they would do 2 things. They would throw you out when you're 18, or as soon as you get a job, they'll start charging you rent. And they was living all this years without your rent. And now they want your money now. Some kids want to move out, but they paying rent to their mothers and everything. When she said about the homeless shelter and all that, I can relate to all that. Prophet of thought, I didn't even want to go to school half the time because I didn't have no clothes to wear. Or I would wear the same 2 outfits. I'll go to school 2 days a week and then go the next 2 days so I could switch my clothes up. I remember all that.
Yeah, that's what I had to have. I have to have set aside funding for that. Even down to even deodorant. Take them aside and like little boys. Like, look, man, people. If you see people kind of uncomfortable when you're sitting by them, it's because they're not really comfortable with the scent that you're leaving behind, brother. So you said, I brought you some stuff so that you can take care of that. Matter of fact, once you use the teacher's restroom, clean yourself up, come on back out. So
wait a minute, brother Art. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Now you telling me that you had to set money aside, your own cash, put it to the side to make sure other people's kids had toiletries?
Yeah, clothing, shoes.
You based out of?
Yeah, I'm out here in California.
Okay.
So me and some other teachers, we that's a normal thing for us, man, because we understand. We see what's going on. That's why I don't really buy into the whole I mean, everything that's going, what people saying, well, you know, I'm not responsible. That's them. You know, they can sleep at night with that. But if you're teaching for 25 years and you got to do something, you know, you can't.
you look at things from a different perspective because you're around children all the time. I mean, I perfectly understand it. Plus, you're just a naturally cool, good dude. Naturally, I mean, that's just who you are, brother Art. And like I said, I mean, you're a teacher, you're a professor, so you know you're around. They probably around you more than they're around the old black ass mammy anyway. So you know they probably tell you a lot of things that you know that they can't tell anybody else. I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I'm an angel on their shoulder, but the devil keep winning. Yeah, I got time with them. I try to give them all the whole, you know.
I'm still in that goddamn saying that you just said too, by the way. So
yeah, the devil wins, man, because you know, I guess, you know, because I'm far, you know, we're looking at Generation Z now. So I'm the ones that we're teaching for the last maybe 7 years now, I think. So when you're looking at that, I mean, I'm you know, I'm like far, you know, I'm far away from their generation. So whatever I'm saying, I would have to see them when they get older. You see what I'm saying? Because it's so far. Because I don't have the lingo, I don't have the energy. I'm like Yoda. I'm old as fuck, you know. So that's why I'm about to become an administrator, so I can have more influence. You know, just teaching stuff. I feel powerless. You know, I can't really reach them like I used to. But I used to reach them. You know, I think if some of you guys heard my students come on my panel, you know, and tell the stories and stuff like that, and then talk about the stuff I used to do. You know, I was able to make sure that they stay out of situations. But right now, it's a different animal, man. I mean, from the discipline. Put it this way, you would have to get scars and claws for them to later on respect you. That's how bad it is. Because back then, you used to do a flip or two or a magic trick. They said, "Oh, this nigga's the truth." Now it's way more complicated, you know. Because if you can see how it is on my panels, my whole method is getting people comfortable, and then later on, I give them the messages. Now it's taking a long time. It's really, you know, I think someone like me or even yourself, Xavier, I think we have to be more on higher situations, because you know how it is be a business owner.
Yes.
Like the fact that you're a business owner, then they have to look at you a different way.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Like I remember, I was watching the news and they said that they did a study saying that 70% of kids in the New York City public school system from grades K to 12 did not go to school half the year. 70%.
Oh, brother. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves right now. As far as the boys, on almost every category, the boys are the lowest on the totem pole. We talk about academics, behavior, even to the point of even sports too. Now, sports, they're taking a plunge in sports. I'm like, God damn, sports.
Yeah.
So it's
right. And let me say something real quick. For those of y'all who are watching this live stream, the manosphere, people are really listening to this. The manosphere helped me out a lot, because before I listened to the manosphere, you don't really know. X, do you consider yourself part of the manosphere?
Somewhat, yeah, because I've been around this shit a long time. I mean, I was around before they start even naming this shit. I remember the big three. I was aligned with all of them, you know. So I mean, I'll put it like this. When it comes to the spear, I would like to consider myself part of it, but I am one of the parts of it that is very, very neutral. I'm one of the more neutral parts of it. I don't take sides. I don't jump on this side. I don't jump on that side, because for the most part, T.P.O.T is a pretty red space. I mean, this is a red space. This isn't a blue space. It's pretty red over here. All right. You see this fucking red X right here? See this red X?
Right.
It's pretty red over here. So I would consider myself part and parcel, at the very least connected to the spear, if nothing else. All right.
Like,
so
listening to you, O'Shea, Tommy, Angry Man, like I went and got my GED because you don't realize how much you don't got your life together as a black man until you re-listen to y'all. Because people are listening to y'all, and I'm a prime example. I'm listening to y'all. I got inspired to go finish I have one last test to take my GED, and that was math. I hate math. And listening to y'all, I said, man, if I don't, I got to get it together. I didn't feel like a man. You can't feel like if you don't got it together, you're not going to feel like a man listening to y'all.
Man, you can say without even putting people in the equation, I would definitely encourage you, don't stop. Don't just stop at the D.
Keep going. Keep going.
Go ahead, X. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, keep going. And he's close. He's down here. He's right down here. He's in Greensboro. So he's not that far from me. So,
because he said the key thing, the accomplishment and linking it with his manhood, and that's the part that I'm trying to appeal to, because some people get degrees, but they probably they're probably not using it like they should. But the fact that they went and did something with discipline and made an accomplishment and know that they have options to use it whenever they want to, that should say a lot to your self-esteem. That should say a lot to your whole psyche. And when people try to say something bad to you, you got that to hold your hat on. Like, you can't say that to me because basically I did something that you can't do.
Yep. That's right.
So I'm in the brother, don't stop, man. Take it as far as you can.
Yep.
Like I remember, you remember when Obsidian was supposed to show up on your show and he didn't show up till almost 11 o'clock at night and we was talking about the trade?
Oh, yeah. When I was talking to him about his book.
Yeah, he didn't show up till 11 something at night.
Yeah.
We
always show up late, goddammit. But
actually, he almost did that to me when he saw Joe Torre. He came quick.
Oh yeah, I was on. Let me tell you something.
You was there.
Yeah, I know I was there. I saw that shit, and you had sent me the email, and you was like, "Oh, Joe Torre gonna be on," and it didn't even cross my mind that it was like the real Joe Torre, the TV star comedian motherfucker. So I'm like, "What the fuck is this Joe Torre motherfucker?" That's what I was saying to myself. I actually thought I had said it to my wife too. I was like, I'm gonna go up on Brother Arch. He's having like a Gen X, men's meeting, and he said something about some motherfucker named Joe Torre. Who the fuck is that? And then when I get on there, it's the real fucking Joe Torre. I'm like, oh shit. that fucking Joe Torre. All right.
I'm trying to get more panels like that. I'm trying to, it takes work to get the people up here, man. But
let me tell y'all something about this guy right here. You see this guy right here to my left? This guy knows a lot of fucking people, man. I need to look at his goddamn Rolodex, boy, because you be seeing people on fucking Brothers Art channel that you ain't gonna see nowhere else. I'm telling you, Brother Art know a lot of people, man.
I'm just trying to catch in my favors, man.
Man.
I did a lot for people out there, so they
remember. Yeah, if y'all don't know it, man, know it now, man. Brother Art know a lot of fucking people. I thought I knew a lot of motherfuckers. Brother Art, though.
Brother Art, Shahrazad, that's enough for me. Shahrazad Ali, shoot. That's a big one. Yeah. That's the big one right there. So that's.
Oh, seems like we got another lady in the audience. I don't believe in overcharging. Won't you come on up, Lady Love? Won't you come on up? We want to ask you some questions. We want to question you.
Is that a Marley Gibbs picture?
Let me see.
From the Jeffersons?
I don't know.
That might be Marley Gibbs.
Come on up. Come on up, Lady Love, so we can ask you some questions. I have some questions for you. Because she had wrote in here before. She said, "Greetings, brother prophet in the panel." She said, "I believe a parent should charge their child rent because they learn there are a few places you can live comfortably for free." And of course, she's absolutely positively fucking right. So yeah,
my mom did it this way to where she helped me get the car, but I had to pay the car note.
Yeah.
She didn't pay the car, and I paid the car note when I was in high school.
When I was a young guy, right? When I was a young guy and I was in my senior year of high school, I was paying my mom's $60 a fucking week back then. And you talking like 1,000 years ago, because I'm like 1,017 years old right now.
Gas was what, 80-some cents.
Yeah, I mean, I was paying $60 a fucking week to my mom's, man. And that's like $240 a month. And you talking what, 30, 35 years ago, it's probably the equivalent of paying like $500 a month now. And, I did that shit effortlessly. That's why I moved out, because I had the opportunity to get a fucking apartment for $200 a month. And I was already paying my mom's $240 a month. So I was like, wait a fucking minute. I can afford to have my own motherfucking place out this motherfucker. So that's why I moved out, because I was giving my mom $60 a week. And, my parents were married. So my pops was like, he said, well, son, he said, your mom's, she expect you to pay her some rent. And I was cool with it. I was cool with it, because I had been paying her rent ever since I was like 15. And it started out as, when I was 15 working, it was $25 a week. And then when I got 16, it was $30 a week. And shit, when I got to be 17, because I only had 3 classes in my senior year of high school. I only had 3 classes. I went to school at 7:30. I was out by 9:30. So I worked a full-time job. I worked from 10 to 6:30. Because I was out of school by like 9:30. I'm done with all my classes. So I worked a full-time job when I was 17 years old. And when I started working that full-time job, my mom's like, oh, I want $60 a week now. So it went right on up to $60. So I mean, I don't really have a problem with parents doing that, because I went through it. And I had jobs, and I worked with my old man. My father had a landscaping business. So, I worked with him in the summertime and weekends and, spring break and all that kind of shit. So I'm no stranger to, paying my parents' rent. Well, my father, he didn't want shit from me. He didn't want anything. He's like, I don't want nothing from you, boy. But my mom, she wanted that $60 every Friday. Yeah, she wanted that $60. That $60 had to get paid on time. She'd be knocking on that door.
As long as there's some kind of lesson in the end, and it pays off. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It taught me how to manage my money, man. And, it taught me how to manage my money, and it taught me how to be on my own. It taught me how to be on my own. So, I mean, I learned that if I didn't learn anything else. I learned how to take care of my own goddamn self and pay for my own shit.
Funny quick story. You know how sometimes they have these teachers around, and they go around the room, and and they have students asking teachers, what made you want to be a teacher? And there's always some that says, I just want to make a difference in the community, or someone said, I want to give back to society. They got to me, I was like, I just want to move out my mama's house. Everybody just like, what?
That's why you took up that profession, so you could get the hell out.
It's supposed to be 5 years, fam. I was supposed to do it for 5 years when I was 25.
You have any regret?
25, man. Because I wanted to do it for 5 years and go out and do some animation, but I kept making differences. I started an animation program in that district. So I was like, okay.
You're about to retire soon, though, right? You about 7
more years, but I'm an administrator first.
Oh, okay.
I'm an I'm in an administrative program right now, and then all that crap y'all hear me say on these YouTube panels, I'm definitely going to be in position to do it. I'm definitely going to be in position to hire our own, make sure that we can teach our own, make sure that we can make a difference in our own schools, with our own people. We can't just be complaining about people in these positions. You got to be in the position. That's why I was encouraging the brother Terrence B. Don't stop, man, because people are watching. He said he's watching the manosphere, but shit, people are watching him.
Yeah, that's true.
So
very, 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 very true. Very true. But we done been joined by Lady Love. What's good with it, Lady Love? What you got for us?
Good evening. This is my first time on StreamYard, and you said come up, so I decided to come up.
Absolutely.
And basically what I was saying about I heard what the young brother was saying, and I felt like that was not good to take it. Some people might consider it taking advantage of your child. I also believe in teaching your children responsibility, and I have required my children to pay at least 10% of their pay when they got their first little jobs and everything. And my son is in college now. He still lives home. I charge him a little $250, but I save it so that if his car or something happened with his car, and if he needs it, it's there. But it's not for me. It's more so when he moves out, I can get his furniture or whatever.
My mom did that.
Not everybody does that.
Right. That's why I said that wasn't.
So what you charge him $250 a month?
Yes.
That ain't shit.
Well,
I was paying that 35 years ago.
Well, guess what? He's in college, and he helps out with he throw a little $50 here for the gas, the electric. He's responsible, and
that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that ain't shit. That's not a lot of money to be giving your mom.
Right.
It's not, but it's the principle that you don't live anywhere for free where you're going to be comfortable. Now, to his credit and my daughter's credit, they have huge bank accounts. He's paying for his college education himself.
Wow.
So I don't have to, he started out with loans, but he stocked. I used to wonder, like, well, what are you doing with your money? I got this, Mom. I got this. And now he pays his own tuition, buys his own books. He doesn't ask me for much. So I say that it wasn't my goal to charge him a whole lot. He knows that it costs a lot to live on his own.
So let me ask you this, Lady Love. Are all of your children adults? They're all adults. All of your children are adults.
Yes, my son is 23 and my daughter's 21.
Oh, so shit. You are empty nester for the most part.
Yes, for the most part. Yes, I'm still adjusting to it.
Okay. So how was it when they were younger? Like when they were younger kids? I mean, were you one of those type of mothers? And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Right. But I'm going to ask. Were you one of those mothers who was breaking broomsticks across the head and hitting them with belt buckles? Did you hear the young lady that was up here earlier? Did you hear the?
I missed the broadcast, and I'm going to go back because I've been watching you for a couple of years, so I am going to go back. I came at the tail end when these two brothers were talking.
So you missed her horror story that she told us. You missed the horror story.
Reading the chat and everything. I will say this. That's the kind of work I do. I direct a parenting and anger management program. I've been doing it for about 17, 18 years. And have I spanked my children when they were younger? Yes. Have I done it often? No. My favorite slogan is appeal to the mind versus the behind. But I'm also understanding that in order to effectively manage your children, it starts when they're young and you have to form a bond with them. And like, for instance, when I would go out as a single mom, I would go out and I would give my children a look and they would stop what they were doing. But it took years to get them to that. It started when my son was like 6 months. Everybody doesn't have, if you're not taught, it can be difficult to develop those skills. So I wasn't a major beater. I was a yeller. I'm not gonna act like, I didn't have deficits. I was a yeller because sometimes I would be frustrated, and that was the tool that I used.
I was
But yeah, I would try to, later on after everything settled down, I would go to them and say, look, mommy don't want to yell at y'all. I want you to just get in line because my job is to keep you safe and to make sure that you're healthy. And I can't do that if you don't listen to me and do what I need you to do, and I need to do it.
So you're in this field of work. So I'm pretty sure you see all this, you see a lot of this stuff. So do you often run into people who have these stories? Do you run into a lot these stories like the young lady who was on earlier? She talked about the beating, she talked about the abuse, she talked about the the molestation and the people touching on her mom's boyfriends and shit like that. Do you run into a lot of that in your work?
So my job is funded by DHS, the Department of Human Services, to get for people whose children have been removed, or to help them get their children back. And many of them are living in shelters, living in residential treatment facilities and things like that. So unfortunately, I hear those stories on a regular basis. And when I was growing up, my mother worked for an organization called Women Organized Against Rape. I was a young girl, and I saw how hard she fought for like people that had experienced trauma. And I didn't really understand all that she did. I just knew that people loved her because she could relate to them. And just like the gentleman said, when somebody said, what you want to do, you want to be a teacher, I knew I was going to get into the helping profession. So it's like some people say, how can you hear those stories and do that? I mean, they say do what you love versus doing something to make a whole bunch of money. I say that if we don't give back to our community, then we won't really have a healthy one. So I just do my small part. And it's sad to hear stories like that young lady. I didn't hear it, but from what you're saying, I have many of them in my classes. And time heals wounds, but you have to have resources and encouragement and support. And unfortunately, like in our day when we grew up, you lived on a block where everybody knew each other and people supported each other, and it was a village. Most of the families that I work with are transient. They may live here for a year. They don't really establish like connections and support. And a lot of us don't live near our families anymore. I know I live close to my mom, but some people want to move to the county and out the city far. It take you 35 minutes to go see a family. And those things and then with the internet and all that, it's a sad world that we live in, but I often hear you say, like, you do your part, you and your wife, y'all go out to the community. I'm gonna tell y'all one more story, and then I'm gonna let y'all talk. But I go to the corner store in my neighborhood, and the little kids don't. The little girl didn't have on a mask. I say to all of them every time, "Why you don't have on a mask?" She said, "I'm healthy," and I said, "You healthy, but it's not about you being healthy. It's about my mask protects you, your mask protects me." She said, "That's all conspiracy. This was put out here by the government XYZ." And I said, "Well, what about me? What if you went to the doctor and you say you corona free? Then you went out and visited your boyfriend. He has corona, but he doesn't know it because he doesn't show symptoms. Now you standing here." She was like, "Well, I never thought of it like that." Not every time I get a response like that. Sometimes these bad behind kids will tell me, "Lady, you crazy," or they'll walk away saying, "Mind your business." But my friends and my colleagues will say, "Why do you do that?" Because if we don't talk to the young people, and my words may not change their mind today, but maybe somebody else may say something, or maybe they just may hear something. But it's like I'd rather extend my energy to try to be a part of the solution, and it fall on deaf ears and it has no results. At least I have a sense of fulfillment that I'm not going to be scared of young people. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to tell them my opinion, whether they want to hear it or not. Now, I am careful because it is some teenagers that might want to get a little crazy, and my spirit discerns who to, connect with. But that's all. I hear it on a day to day. It's sad. And I think I'm becoming immune to it in a sense that I, don't take it home. And I try to do things to protect myself spiritually. So when I'm not at work, I'm putting in those things that's going to uplift my spirit, uplift my health. I drink my tea, burn my sage, listen to my jazz or whatever music so I could relax and enjoy my life outside of the crises of America, because it is one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
that sage is real.
Yeah. My wife burns that too. She burns it around here from time to time. So being a female, right?
Yes.
Do you think that these? Do you agree? Well, let me ask you this. Let me rephrase the question. I said tonight that this crap that happens to these little girls, the abuse and the beatings and the neglect and all this crap. And not just little girls, little boys too, because that's who I usually talk about when I'm up here talking. I come from a male perspective because I want brothers to be free. But I decided to bring a female up here tonight. And I said tonight that this here is, these kind of things are the nucleus of many of Black society's problems. Like I said, the abuse, the neglect, the beatings, the molestation, the dysfunction. I'm a true believer that many problems within Black society starts there with these children when they're very small, they're very young, they're very impressionable, they're very malleable, and you have them being treated, horribly. These children are being treated horribly. They have horrible lives. They're forced to keep this stuff inside. There's nobody for them to talk to, so we can't be surprised when some of them get out here and do crazy shit.
Right.
How can we be surprised listening to what we listened to tonight? How can we be surprised when we got so many kids going through this kind of shit that, they end up toting guns and shooting folks and robbing liquor stores and knocking old ladies in the head in the subway? And how can we be surprised with what the hell we see? And likewise with the girls, how can we be surprised when they're over sexualized, when they're very promiscuous, when they're very carefree and haphazard with their bodies? How can we be surprised when you got these kids going through this shit when they 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and a lot of them up until the time they get the hell out of mama house, they're going through this shit. So am I wrong for making that assertion that a lot of this shit is at the very nucleus of the challenges of Black society?
I want to say this, that sexual abuse, molestation, beating, what they call that, when you beat your child physically till you put whelps on them and break their arm, all that kind of abuse has been going on forever. I think that the difference is 20, 30 years ago, you may have had somebody that experienced sexual abuse, but because they may have encountered, they may have been around other people that helped them heal, they could see what a woman or what a man, what it means to be that, so they could mimic that. Today, I think that I don't like when people say it's the parents' fault, because a lot of parents are the economy is different, so you have to work. And back in my day, they used to say, you put your child up in front of that TV and we watch Sesame Street or whatever. But today, these children are on the internet. They raising themselves. And I think that hurt people. And the only difference, sexual abuse has always been around. They say 1 out of 3 women and men have been sexually abused. The difference is that it's not a community anymore that's supportive. You don't have people, I mean, you don't even have people that you could look up to. A lot of times, some of the grandmothers out there in the streets, they getting their twerk on or whatever, you know. It's a different world that we live in. And that's why when the people were talking about, a lot of people my mother's age were upset about the children. They said they looting the stores and everything. They are expressing their anger in an unhealthy way. But the only way you can learn healthy behaviors is if you have people that you can, that are exhibiting it around you, and if you're getting help. Back in my day, people didn't go to therapy. The therapy was your next door neighbor that may have been a couple years older than you. She saw you was sad, what's going on. You trust her, you tell her what's going on, she give you advice, and then you become hopeful, and et cetera, et cetera. But I my neighbors today, I mean, it's a core of us. We're all older and we know each other and we go in each other's houses. But pretty much in where I live, people don't know their neighbors and don't trust their neighbors. And I definitely don't want my neighbors correcting my children if I don't know you like that. So I think that that is a part of why the hurt children are hurt, sexual abuse, whatever, unless they have somebody that can help them heal and can support them, then pretty much it's going to be passed down to their children, their children. But one more thing I want to say about this education piece, the saddest thing that hurt my heart is one of my good friends is a teacher. And she said the little girl, they got on the camera to go to school, and the little girl was at the kitchen table with her little laptop and everything, and she had on her little panties and bra. And my girlfriend was like, "Why? You know, you're not dressed." She was like, "I didn't want to be late." That made me cry. That little girl, no matter who not raising her, somebody around her is instilling in her the importance of school. Because she got up and she didn't have no clothes on, but she was in front of the camera. And in my program, I tell my parents, not value education as far as getting a degree, but you value an education as far as knowledge. I taught my son and my daughter when they was little how to count money, how to read. And then after that, I was like, look, this is the deal. You get your homework, you're responsible for it. If you have an issue, you let me know. But you can read this book, you can go on the internet. I taught them to read and learn on their own. And they value education. And they don't just value education, they value learning, knowledge. And if more people uh could talk to children and incite their minds and make them hungry, like this young man just said, by watching you all, it made him hungry to improve his circumstances until he feels, you know, encouraged and motivated. And sometimes it's just that, hey, how you doing? You know, last story, I know I talk a lot, but one of my son's classmates came to visit last night, and we don't have much company because of Corona, but I know this young girl all her life, and she came to visit. And I said, you know, what are you doing now? And she's not working in her field that she received her degree in. She said that she was just focusing on buying property and everything. And I said, well, do you have plans to go back to school? And she was like, see, that's what all y'all old people always think we supposed to go back to school and this and that.
Y'all
And
old
like,
people.
right.
They
And
always
like
say that shit.
yes. And like the brother was saying, sometimes, like I told her, it's nothing, you young, get your master's degree because it's something that you can do. Plenty of people years ago couldn't do it. And even if you don't use it, you have it. And even if you are your own businesswoman, you have some credentials behind your name. Not that you need them, but it is a level of respect to certain people to see that you have an MBA. And then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna think about that. And I don't. I told her, don't go to school to take out loans. You know, now that you're not in school, look for the programs and just connect with people. Maybe do a Peace Corps or something. Take advantage of the opportunity. But I do feel like just me having that little conversation with her, not that her mother didn't tell her, because I know her mother, she's a nurse, her father is a businessman, come from quality good stock. But sometimes your parents could tell you something, or your grandmother, and it's like, oh, here they go. But somebody on the outside tell you something, and it's like, So I believe in that. Each one teach one. And just because it's not your child, they're our children. That's all.
Isn't it weird, sister, that it seems like, you know, especially this generation, it seemed like they think that somebody their age are more wiser than the older people.
We did too.
But I'm just saying is that it's on steroids right now.
It is. Now I had that thought after I said that, because I feel like my children remind me of them because they swear they know it all, and my parents used to say that to me. But it is on steroids, and it's a mixture. It's a mixture of, this is the generation of mediocrity,
Yeah,
right? They don't want to excel above. They just want to do enough to get enough.
it's cool.
And it's the right. And it's the generation of, because we're in the age of enlightenment where people are now getting access to information that it was like a Rubik's Cube for me to get knowledge on culture and esoteric stuff. They all got it right with them. But there's what do you call that? Arrogance, and they don't appreciate it because they didn't have to work to get it. So they feel like they know more and this and that. But I check all of them. And my son know, anytime he bring them little boys over my house, I'm going to ask them thought-provoking questions. I'm going to require that they answer me. If you don't know, I suggest you stop right there. Don't tell me no BS. And I make them think, because I let them know we're not just older because of what we know. It's our experience. You didn't experience what I experienced. So you could teach me, just say I don't know about astrology. You could teach me about astrology, but I could teach you about people because I've experienced them all my life. So we can combine our our knowledge, and create magic. But don't be disrespectful to me. Respect the empress, and I'm gonna respect my young princes and kings, and
Yeah,
my daughter, little girlfriends too.
I'm pretty much ancestral driven. So
Yes,
pretty much I always come with this premise, and I have to let the older folks know they're older than me, that I don't teach you, you teach me. I
yes,
remind you. I activate you, but I don't teach you, because the young learns from the old. Because even if even if it's a computer, I thought about this, because I would say, well, if a younger person teach me about computers, then I thought about it again. You have to think about that concept was already in you as an older person.
right.
A younger person just enhanced it in another way, and you've just been reminded. So therefore, you're going forward and staying young,
Right.
based on that youth that's with you. So he got the wisdom from you, and for as an exchange, you keeping your youth. You remaining youthful.
Yes.
So that's what kind of helped me to navigate through the younger people younger than me, and the older people. Because some older people,
Exactly.
they be on some stuff, boy.
Yeah. I find that my challenging moments with older people are when they're dogmatic. They're set in their ways,
Oh, like
and
my
they
father.
think that, like my parents, and they think that their way is the only way. And what you said about I'm ancestral driven as well. And I feel like first of all, the knowledge is in our DNA. It just has to be activated. And I
Man,
remind myself that as an elder to my children and their peers, I'm mindful of listening to them. I have to learn their culture so I can interpret it. That's why when they say these songs come out, of course I'm going to watch WAP. I don't like all that stuff, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to interpret it so I can see what my children think about it. And these families that I work with, I can help them see that if you want to watch this stuff, you have to protect your mind. But I can't speak about something if I don't know. So I try to stay connected. But that's why I said earlier about having spiritual practices to rejuvenate my spirit, because constantly we walking in the land of the dark. So I don't want to get consumed in this. I have to make sure I put the right things into my body and into my spirit, you know. But I definitely try to listen when it comes to young people. I don't want to be like that generation that as soon as you say one word, one sentence, you know a better way. Now you interrupting them, but if you would have listened 4 sentences more, you would have got the understanding of what they really were trying to mean. Say maybe they said a wrong word, but the understanding. That's why my godfather used to say, he used to say, listen so you may learn, and learn so you may teach, and that cultivates self-reliance. So I try really hard, and I'm a talker, so for me to listen to the children is hard, but I'm intentional about it.
You say you're a talker. Does that mean that you're a Taurus?
I'm a Virgo. My birthday is seven
Oh,
days from today. I am so happy. I'm turning 50, and I am so happy.
okay. Well, I got it wrong again. My bad.
No, it was you got the earth sign. You got the earth sign right.
Taurus, a
That
Taurus. My mom was a Taurus,
she was a strong
and
woman.
but she, after so. But I'm pretty much just taking her blueprint and spreading that more. So,
Yes,
because yeah, that's what it is about, man. Just greatness. The sky is the limit. Because what I don't like when I hear on some of the panels is, like you said, mediocrity. They just sit there and settle for the smallest, and they try to make small look cool, like it's the end thing. I'm like,
yes,
that's not the end thing, because you're always being subjugated by the people that don't look like you. That's why
yes,
you're going through this stuff, because you are mediocre. You're not really, put it this way. If you go for president, you may not get president, but you might get secretary of state, but you
right,
get something higher. You know what I mean? It ain't like any
right.
money for nothing. So that's why I keep
Absolutely.
telling
I want to say this about the manosphere. When um I think I don't know how I found this sector, but when I watch the brothers talk, I've tried not to judge. And it's one thing that strikes my spirit like chalk on a chalkboard when it just irks me. And it's like when the brothers generalize the women. And I know that they don't, in my spirit, I feel like they are talking about a certain population of women, but it's like you never hear about the solid women. And
well,
it's so sad because the only reason I'm even mentioning this because if you have women some people say in the bushes, I say I'm in my what you call that, my spaceship. I'm looking from space, right?
mhm.
But if you have some women listening, it's like they may immediately be turned off, but there's some valuable principles that you can get if you could just get past that.
Well, I always try to explain. I always try to explain to the sisters. This is like probably the time where a lot of ladies have access to the barbershop. Because
Yes.
a lot of ladies are not able. Sometimes they drop off their son, but they're not really hearing all the details, what's going on behind the chair.
Yes.
So now you're hearing all the grits and grime and all that. You would be amazed of all the straight laced brothers that sit there and jaw jab in these barbershops and come out like they never said anything, never said a cuss word or anything, but they sound like sailors in the barbershop.
Right.
That's why a lot of sisters are taken aback, because they're not used to hearing that. And we talking about the barbershop, the countrywide. It's not one little area. It's like everywhere. So we all can relate to that.
Yeah.
But there's this thing of as a man thinketh, so shall it be. And so in other words, what I'm saying to you is I rarely will say, oh, somebody will say, let's go on vacation. I won't say I'm broke because I'm not broke, first of all. I'll say, well, my resources, I'm not trying to extend my resource to that right now. And like when it comes to me having a discussion about brothers, I try hard not to focus on what they ain't doing, and I try to focus on either things that I see in males that I appreciate, or what it is that I desire.
You sound like
And
my
I think that if you if you continually talking about what the woman ain't doing, how you going to attract your divine mate? or your if you aren't doing what you have to do to become healthy and whole, then how can you attract that?
So what I'm gonna appeal to is your wisdom, is that you got to consider some people are still trying to find their way through certain things, and sometimes they have to go a little extreme until they realize that, okay, now I've landed. Now after I express all these things, I'm going to move forward and do more things that we would probably consider responsible. So
Right.
I'm glad that you expressed what you did, is because some people have no patience at all, because as soon as they hear it, they assume that that's how everybody talks everywhere. But
Right.
you're amazed. It's like Clark Kent versus Superman. You know, you one way in a space, but another way you put your glasses on in your suit. So, but some people, I'm gonna be honest though, some people it might take a little longer, but some people when they get it, you hear the difference. Since I've been in this space, I met X as well. We've witnessed people go from one extreme to the next.
Right.
You know, so you know, that's why I don't really trip when people say a whole bunch of stuff, you know, that I know that's kind of reckless. But at the end of the day, like you said, if you saying, you know, if I cut them off at 5 words, you know, how would it turn out if you said all 20 words?
Right.
You know, matter of fact, that probably would have saved my life, you know, but I'm tripping on the 5 words.
Well, me being aligned, because I'm aligned with a lot of these guys. I mean, a lot of these guys are in my debate league.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them are. They're in my debate league. And believe it or not, a lot of the shit that the brothers say, I agree with. I mean, I'm on board with a lot of shit they say. But the things they talk about, especially the millennial guys, because it's not new to me. I have millennial sons. My sons are these guys' age. So a lot of the stuff that they say, I've heard it all before. You know, I've heard this stuff because, you know, I've heard about the SYSBM. I've heard the red pill stuff. I've heard all that stuff because, like I said, I got 2 sons in their 30s. So a lot of the stuff that I hear, I was hearing a long time ago. So a lot of the things that the brothers say, I can relate to because I've raised guys their age. But on the other side of that, what I think mostly bothers the female listeners, and Art and Brother Art was alluding to this, what bothers a lot of female listeners is that they can't seem to grasp how abrupt and deliberate and straightforward some of this stuff is. Because we as Black folks, let's be honest, we've been taught to tell special stories to women, use special words, try not to make her feel bad, and all this kind of nonsense. And the younger brothers, they are beyond that. They are saying whatever comes to their damn mind. They are not trying to curb their speech for the sake of females. They are not trying to curb the subject matter to placate to females. They're just not trying to do it because, see, they don't see females the way people my age, because I'm in my 50s. People my age saw females, if you go back 25, 30 years ago, we kind of saw females different than these 25, 30-year-old guys of today see females. They don't see females the same way. So they don't have those filters where they say, okay, well, you know, it's some females in the room, so you know, let us not say certain things. No, they just come on with it because they come at it from an angle of, if there's 100 people in a room, right, and 80 people in there have the flu and 20 people do not, what's more likely to happen? Is it more likely that those 80 people infect the other 20, or do the 20 people make the people with the flu not have it? They come from it. They come from it from that angle. That's the angle that they come from. It could be 100 snakes. You have 100 snakes in a box, and 80 of them is poisonous and 20 of them ain't. They're going to tell you, hey, look, don't reach into that box because 80 of those snakes in there is poisonous and only 20 of them are not. So don't take the chance. And that's kind of where these young fellas come from. I know, because I talk to them all the time. Like I said, they're in my debate league. So they come at things from a different angle. Now, do I agree totally with these young fellas? Absolutely not. But a lot of the shit that they say, I can kind of relate to because these guys, a lot of these guys are my son's age, and I hear this kind of shit all the time. So
brother, I was speaking about people in our age group, and I want to say one name, but I don't want to say it because it's my first time on StreamYard, and I'm just talking like I'm talking to my friends. You know what I mean? But I'm going to say this. It's not, I think I'm grown as a woman enough to know, like I said, when I hear them start talking, I'm like, oh God, here go the fellas. Like, here they go. But I find it so, I just think that deep in, relational health is something, how men and women relate to each other is not an art that's passed down anymore. And what you were saying about the fellas, I mean, I'm okay with all of that. But when you 50, 51, 52 years old and you saying the only thing a woman could do for you is X, Y, and Z and all of that. And I don't know. But I think as I'm talking out loud, I'm saying to myself, maybe everybody doesn't desire to be connected, to their counterparts. Maybe some people may not mind being bachelors for the rest of their lives. So it's unfair for me to say, if a man says, I'm not taking you out to dinner unless I know I'm getting something from it. Who am I to judge? I'm just saying that when I hear things like that, and then like other little, the next upcoming generation hears that, and then you may meet a quality queen, somebody ready to nurture you, listen to you, respect you, and in some cases pass knowledge on. We learn from each other. So that's the only thing that makes me kind of say, dang, I hope none of these little brothers feel like that.
I'll tell you like this, Lady Love. Not everything is for everybody, and not every damn YouTube channel is for everybody. Some channels you just need to, some channels you need to skip. That's what I do. I mean, shit I don't like is just that. Shit I don't like.
But remember, brother X, I started off by saying I enjoy it. That's why I come back. That's just one aspect. I was just speaking out loud something that I feel. I'm not judging it to say it's bad. It was just a thought. I enjoy listening to y'all up there. I've during Corona, I have been entertained with some of these debates. Man, I mean, I would sit up in my bed, like sit straight up, like, no, he didn't just say that. And I'm okay with
you've been watching. You've been watching.
I started off by saying, and I've been watching for a little while.
Okay.
I enjoy it from the watch from space.
I appreciate that, Lady Love.
Yes.
I appreciate the support.
Yes. So this was good. I have a question for you, Brother X, and the panel. I'm just learning. I've always heard about ADOS, but now I'm hearing that there's a movement that says like don't vote because it doesn't make a difference. What do you guys think about that?
I heard that before, but it depends on where you are in the political realm. If you,
right.
I totally disagree with that myself. I feel like this: if you don't vote, you can't fucking complain. And what people don't understand when they talk about voting, the only race that you vote for and your vote can quote unquote not count is in a presidential election. Your town supervisor, your mayor, your governor, your city council, your commissioner of sanitation, and all these people at the local level, that shit matters. Okay. I mean, if you feel that way for the presidential shit, fine. Leave that part blank. But your county clerk, your DA, your sheriff. See, you can tell that these are people who talk that no vote and shit are people who usually have never voted. Because if you go to vote, it's not just going to be Donald Trump name up there, man. It's going to be all the people running in your state, all the people running in your county, all the people running in your town. And not just that, it's not just positions and politicians on that damn ballot. You're also going to have initiatives and policies, like where your water's coming from, whether or not they build a highway, whether or not they allocate enough money for affordable housing. So it's not just people on that ballot, there's also policies on that ballot. So I mean, for people to say, oh man, don't vote. Because see, when it comes to your mayor, your governor, your town council, city hall, town clerk, commissioner of sanitation, guess what? It's one man, one vote. It's one man, one vote. The electoral college is only for the presidential race. Everywhere else is one man, one vote. If your governor win by 5 votes or 50,000 votes, he still wins. All right.
Just to add too, it's very powerful when you meet the people you voted for.
Yes.
You shake their hand, look in the eyes, talk about different things, you know, even recite the things that they claim that they're going to do. So when you do that, they remember your face. Sometimes they might even invite you to certain places where other people are not invited. But the thing is that they're there to do a service. And so the people that are actually paying attention, those are one that they really, really want to engage in so they can do better.
Right.
Yep.
I mean,
plus, I mean, we need to be engaged, and you want to know who the damn district attorney is, man. You want to know who the damn sheriff is. You want to know who's taking your garbage away. You want to know where your water's coming from. You want to know whether or not the light company is going to be able to raise your bill by 25%. I know down here that's going to be on the ballot because they're looking to raise, they're willing to hike, they want to hike the rates up for 25, 30%. So if you're not voting, you're out of the loop of all of this stuff that's going on. You're out of the loop of that.
The key thing is your character. That's the thing. When you start really, working the circuit and people understanding who you are, you may have to really turn in them favors. You might have to really start asking, some things. And then when they remember you, it paid off for me. I kid you not. The fact that some people recognize who I was, and I mean, from the mayor and all that kind of stuff, I got some things done.
Right.
I can't get it with Trump, but I probably get it with my mayor or my state controller or somebody.
Absolutely, because all politics are local anyway. Because if you go out there and whatever Donald Trump does, you probably won't feel that for a while. But your goddamn mayor, whatever he do, you're gonna feel that shit tomorrow. So
I wish we had Marion Barry, man. I really wish we had someone like Marion Barry without the crack.
Really, he said without the crack.
That dude probably the best example for a politician that did what he's supposed to do.
Yes.
Man. I mean,
Barry was gangster.
If you're not voting, I don't want to hear you fucking complaining. You know why? Because see, even if you vote and your guy loses, at least you can bitch and complain and say, you know what, I didn't vote for this damn guy. But if you somebody who didn't vote for nobody, you can't complain about anybody because you didn't do your part to get someone in office or out of it. You didn't do your part, man.
I'm glad you mentioned the person that lose. You got to stick with them. See, people just wait for the winner. When that person lose, eventually they gonna make a comeback.
Yes.
And they can remember that you were there during those times.
Exactly.
Even if they lost fighting the good fight, you gotta say, hey, I'm here for you, brother. Let me know what you need. That kind of stuff. And he started running again. I mean, it's a lot of stuff behind that. I mean, I have a little background. I don't say much in these panels, but I do know how some of these politics work.
Yes. My
And I
dad
would,
used to say,
and I wouldn't be surprised if Brother Art knows quite a few goddamn politicians.
I said,
Don't be surprised, y'all, because Art knows every fucking body.
I'm gonna have
Go
people
ahead.
keep like a regular layman. So I'm just a regular person.
Yeah, right.
my dad used to say that sometimes you gotta lose to win. You know, it may not be your timing and it may not ever be your time, but you shine while you were you know, working towards that goal. So
Yeah, yeah.
hey,
But
that's good.
you know,
There's an ugly side of politics too, though. That's why I don't want to talk much about it.
oh, of course it is, because there's money and shit involved.
I'm
It's
talking about
always
and all that, bruh. It's bad.
mm,
That's why I don't really
yeah.
tread too much into it, but I try to be very careful who I shake hands with, stuff like that. It's pretty because like I'm always give Lonzo Williams this quote. He said it's hard to walk straight in a crooked game.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes.
politics have a lot of corruption in it. I mean, it's one of those things that's always going to have some degree of corruption in it. I mean, that's just what it is. You know, politics is a corrupt system.
Because if you shake the wrong hand, it might be too hard to get rid of that smell.
Nah.
Yes.
So you got to be real careful, man. Tell you.
I agree. I totally agree. I do.
Well, I have one more
I'm
question.
Go
And
ahead.
then I'm
Go
finished.
ahead.
Have you
Go ahead.
guys heard? I went to my herb store that I go to all the time, and the guy was telling me about these nettle little small teapots to irrigate your nose. He was saying that if you make sure that you keep your nostril passageway clean with salt water and you gargle with like he said Listerine is good, but he listed some other things that could help prevent you from
The
being
virus.
impacted by corona, right?
Yeah,
Oh
Listerine is
God.
probably one of the most. Listerine is probably one of the most aggressive ways of getting rid of all viruses in your mouth.
Right.
Best way to do it, like you got to get the yellow kind, the one that's original.
That's the yes,
You
yes,
gargle it.
yes.
Don't dilute it. Take it straight, gargle it. But when you spit it out in the sink, look. If you see something brown in it, that means that something was trying to settle in your passage area. So you got
Right.
rid of it, some of it. But if you don't see anything, you should be all right. But
Oh, listen, I've been doing that. My father was a Listerine man. And when they started making these blue and all that, he was like, man, that ain't Listerine. I was just asking that because I've always believed in like the power of that that it can have on oral health. But when it comes to corona, they was saying like I said that to someone else and they was like, oh, I don't believe that. And I was like, well, still I'd rather try it and not know than to not do anything.
when people say they don't believe stuff, the conversation is over. I don't have time to be trying to sell something that I'm not getting no money for.
He said the conversation's
I'm
over.
good. Too old for that.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for allowing me to come on the panel. This is my first time on the stream yard.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I
Come
want to
back.
check out. Yeah, I'm always here. I'm just up in the skybox, just
But
watching and enjoying.
something to share with you because I know what direction you're going in. Whenever you wear your mask, get you some either eucalyptus or peppermint oil, essential oil, and just put a couple of drops on your mask so it can increase your breathing.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
And brother, I'm gonna check out your channel also and
yeah,
try to find you and subscribe.
I'm putting positive
Yeah.
sisters on the map. So I'm trying to start a series called the black the female spook who sat by the door every Sunday.
Yes, okay, I'm gonna check it out.
So
Definitely.
I'm working on that. So I hear what you said. So I'm trying to at least give the positive sisters a platform.
Hey, nothing wrong with that because guess what? It's yin and yang, plus and negative. We live in a three-dimensional right now world, and it takes all of us so that it can be balanced.
Oh, I hear you, sister. But yeah, so I see you on that, you know, in other spaces, whatever, because it's good to have sisters that speak what we need to hear, because that's what it's about.
Yes. Well, y'all have a blessed evening, and I'm going to go back up to my spaceship and relax.
Well, do you think?
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Appreciate you coming on, Lady Love. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
Yeah, man. So I'm trying to build that female spook to set by the door. So I'm
all right. I gotta come down there and check it out. I saw it come on my ticker, but I never got a chance to watch it because you know I am subscribed, but I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Because it's not popular. That whole concept is definitely not popular, and I like it that way. I'm not trying to fit the narrative, you know. I'm not trying to just echo what everybody else do in their panels. I just want to do something different, man. So that's one of them. So I think I got a good solid group. You know, I got Nicole Ali. I got Shalana.
You got the scientist, right? That's the scientist girl.
Scientist, the soldier lady, and the no nonsense mother and educator and tax expert, Asada Muhammad.
Oh, so okay. Yeah. Lady Asada, man, is cool in the gang, man.
So they can't say nothing about them ladies unless they just trying to mess with them. And then,
they just fucking with them because those ladies are solid, man.
And what's the name? Nyota Uhura. That was with the whole Ferguson thing.
Okay.
She's going to be a regular too, but she's trying to navigate her situation because she's out there on the front lines, man. You should get her on your channel.
Yeah, hey, you know I will, man. I mean, I got you as the plug, you know, maybe I can get in. All I got to do is say I know you. I know Brother Art and Style, so that should get me in.
Dr. T.P.O.T Johnson hooked us up, so I'm give him the credit.
That's who I want to get on. I want to get the doc on. That's kind of, and it's crazy because I follow him on Twitter and shit. And sometimes he comments on some of my shit. I'm trying to remember if he follows me. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, he's very supportive. But he's the fly on the wall, but he's very supportive.
Yeah, I want to get the doc on, man. That would be a good get for me.
Because we're going to develop a panel ourselves about the low enrollment of Black boys in higher education. So that's a problem, man. It's not only a problem for our boys, but it's a problem for the Black faculty, because we're supposed to be there to be the makeup of the student body. So we don't see much of them. We not going. Well, I'm going to be there for a while because I got tenure, but you have some people that's been there for 5-6 years. They're gonna have to let them go because there's not that much of a demand for them based on the demographics. And it depends on the departments too. So that's why it's very important, and that's why they're really trying to put that wedge between Black man and Black woman. So it's because at first it was just Black people, now it's just Black man and Black woman. So it's like they probably keep the sisters, but the brothers, man, like brothers that are in education, that are professors. We have to monitor whether or not if somebody's going to let us go every year. We're like, okay, I made it this time. I made it. Fine, I made it again. So that's something that we're gonna have a panel about. So I got some people along with Dr. T.P.O.T Johnson just trying to find a good day to do it. Are you there?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here. I would love to have the doc on, man. That'd be a good get.
I'm reading for Green Gorilla, man. Green Gorilla is pretty much rising in the space. According to BGS support. BGS got me a lot of support too. But Green Gorilla, man. Have you heard Green Gorilla?
I've heard of him. I've never seen any of his stuff, but I've heard people mention him before.
Yeah, that's my fraternity brother, man.
I gotta check him out. Man.
That's who you want to have on. Matter of fact, that's who you want to have on your show one day, man. That dude, man. Yeah, people to listen to Green Gorilla. he's a professor. You know, all these, he's like BGS wants to bring more professors in. That's what he said, educators and professors, just to give it more balance.
Absolutely. Plus, to kind of, give it a different kind of flavor. You bring in some intellectuals and some scholars and some, I mean, it will, I think it will bring it up. Bring the space up a little bit. It wouldn't hurt it. Wouldn't hurt it at all.
I'm gonna have a definitely. I know this is gonna be real popular. I bet you it's gonna be real popular. But I got some of my students that are still in gangs. I'm gonna have that panel to talk about family.
That'll be a tough conversation.
No, man, you wouldn't believe it, man. A lot of dudes that are in gangs are hella family oriented. That's why I wanted to have that conversation. I'm like, God damn.
Wow.
It's
I gotta catch that one. I definitely gotta catch that.
I want people to hear for themselves. I want them to hear. I'm like, dude, really?
Definitely
some of them, I mean, it's interesting. Well, I'm gonna get the young ones, but it's interesting when you have the grandparents in gangs. That's it's a trip. They're not allowed to say a lot, but I have to. I'm making sure my questions are very, I would say my questions are anti DJ Vladish. Okay, I ain't trying to get nobody in trouble, but I just want to focus on how the functionality, because we keep getting these Pookie and Ray Ray conversations, but we're not really talking to the real ones. We just talk to the personified ones.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see who Pookie and Ray Ray really is.
Yeah, I get that sense too, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that one, brother Art.
I'm gonna bring them, and then people can judge for themselves. I remember, I put it this way: if I've been teaching for 25 years, let's go like if somebody's class of 99, how old would they be? They'd be like what, 39?
Yep. Yeah, if they class of 99, they'd be like 39, 40.
So if you take it back to 96, that would be in their 40s. Yeah, so I have students going that far back, man, in high school.
Damn.
That's why I taught 3 generations, man. I taught Xers, millennials, and Generation Z.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on panels and people talking to me like I'm just some regular dude, but it's okay. It's cool.
Yeah, but that's because they don't know. Well, you know how it is, brother Art.
It's the endorsement game.
Yeah, some of these people get up here and they think everybody up here is nobody. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of these people up here, they think we're all a bunch of nobodies, and we spend all our time on YouTube and on panels. We don't have real lives and wives and houses and bills and jobs and careers. And a lot of people think that way about people on YouTube. Oh man, this is all they do. On YouTube all the time. So
they get endorsed by certain people, and they're like, "Oh, he likes him. Oh, I like him too.
Yeah,
oh, him. I hate him too." I'm like, "All right, I see what's going on. I see where the butter being bread and the bread being buttered." So
absolutely. So you already know what it is, brother Art. But see, people like me, we know fucking better. I know better than that. Goddamn.
When I was on, probably the second panel you were on, or the first. Remember, you were saying that once YouTube is shut down, it's going to be kind of hell for those people that are relying on YouTube for an income.
Hell yeah, they're going to be screwed.
They're going to be nice then.
Yeah.
They're going to be less standoffish, and they better hope I have a bad memory.
Yeah. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I mean, I know a lot of brothers get up here and, and this is their job. I mean, I get it. I get it. I don't think it could ever be mine, though. That's the thing. I don't think YouTube could ever be like my job. Like, this is what I do every day, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day. I couldn't do this as a job.
Yeah, this is a side thing for us. You know,
I could not do this as a job. I don't know if it's because I don't have the will, the desire, the interest, or the ability, if that be the case. I'm good at what I do. I've been doing it for 30 years. I think I want to stick with that. Plus, that's guaranteed money. I fuck around with YouTube, you know, it's topsy-turvy, you know, you might have a good week and then you have an awful week. So I mean, I couldn't make YouTube a job. It just wouldn't work for me. If I was younger, say if I was 30, then I could say, well, you know, I'll try to make this a job. But there's no way, the age that I am, there's no way I'm trying to make YouTube my fucking job. Because number one, I don't make enough money at it, and number two, it's a little bit too time consuming. And you know what I make an hour when I go out on jobs and shit like that, man, YouTube would never compare to what I make. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't compare to what, you know, what I make on an hourly basis. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like
YouTube wouldn't compare, man.
But on the real, you know, since I'm in the administrative program, I think I want to try stepping it up a little bit on my channel, so I take care of this tuition. Like, when I saw the tuition, I was like, damn! I thought it, you know, they charge a lot, man. So, but I got to do it. I got to get it done.
Yeah, man. But one thing I noticed, man, down there is that your channel's growing, brother. Your channel's growing, and there's people coming through there all the time, you know, and it's catching on, man. It's absolutely catching on. It's catching on, man. And to be honest with you, in all honesty, man, your channel is probably one of the more mature, grown up channels. You know, there's not a lot of BS down there, and you know, arguing, fighting going on. There's not a lot of that down there. So, you know, I would consider that, you know, a more adult space. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your channel is a little more adult than the rest of our shit. You know, because even down here, sometimes it gets a little crazy. Goddamn, gets a little crazy.
Rapid fire, but is needed. But,
it gets a little crazy, but you know.
But sometimes people, when they go back and forth, it gives me a headache.
It all depends on the back and forth. You know, I mean, sometimes
the necessary stuff. You know, the name calling and challenging, and I've got my gun and I'm gonna take you out and all this.
I'm coming to your house and all this.
I know where you live. You disagreed about, you know, purple jelly beans versus the red jelly beans. You mad over that?
Yeah. You know? I'm gonna pull up. You know, I'm gonna pull up.
I'm gonna pull up. Nicki Minaj was trash. So I'm gonna kick your ass for that. You know, all this stuff. Trivial stuff.
Yeah, it gets a little out of hand, man. You know, and you know, I try to control it as much as I can. You know, sometimes you can't control Negroes, man. You just gotta let them tire themselves out, and then you roll them out the door and shit. You know, you just let them tire themselves out, and then once they done fell out in the flow, you put them in a wheelbarrow and just roll them the hell out, man. Just dump them on the front lawn and shit. So. You know, sometimes I just fall back to that, man. Sometimes I just be like, you know, I let them go ahead and tire themselves out, and then I come in, you know, and just kind of roll them out the door and shit. So,
I was doing that for a while, but I was like, it just wore me out, you know. And some people, what the part that I really didn't like, that I said before on another stream, is when they have these beefs on other spaces and other channels and they bring it to my space.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. And I tried it like you said you do. I said I let them duke it out, say whatever. I go make a sandwich and come back and see if they're done. And then, you know, then move on. But shoot, sometimes when I was doing that, that became a bigger backlash for me being blamed for letting it happen. I'm like, y'all two adults. And that's the thing. Why should I be the one to tell an adult person I never met what to do? You know, or how to act. You know, that's that.
Yep.
I don't even like doing that in my classes. You know, like my college classes. You know, because you imagine I had a 65-year-old dude. I think the lady was probably the same age. They were cussing each other out in the middle of my lecture.
Wow.
At the college, man. In the middle of my lecture. They was like Fred and Esther, man. F you. I got a PhD. You don't know. They were cussing, they going on. And I said, hey, you two, I don't like to correct my elders, but y'all gotta take that outside.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Sometimes you gotta jump in and be like, hey, look, man, come on, man. Just come on.
Yeah, that was the thing. And then they apologized or whatever. But it's very awkward. It's very, it's very because I like me, I don't like when younger folks try to correct me, like especially unnecessarily. So I try to return that to the other side. But that one right there, I wish that was on videotape. that was off the chain. That was off the chain. That's when I had the big lectures, because now they're giving us regular classrooms. But when I first got there, I had the lecture hall where there was like 100 seats. But now I'm average about 25 students, so that's better. But,
yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm supposed to. I'm glad I ain't got to freaking work tomorrow. I'm supposed to be running down to DJ Kuda's tonight, so I'm gonna wrap this up, get me something to drink, and go down there and I guess fuck with him for a few moments.
Yeah, this is my last Wednesday off. I gotta go back to work on Wednesdays from 6 to 9.
So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Any parting shots, man, before we get up out of here?
Well, the famous say no to drugs and stay in school and don't be starting forest fires and keep hope alive and don't forget what do you call it? Black Negro Lives Matter.
Well, I know you throwing down tomorrow night, right? Because you always throw down on Friday nights. So
yes, 5:30 Pacific. Friday night touch-ups. Basically, I'm trying to get that America's Black Forum type, Tony Brown journals type stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna breeze on down there, man. I'm gonna be down there tomorrow, brother Art. I don't got nothing really planned for tomorrow night, so I think I'm gonna breeze on down there, man.
I try to have something lined up, so people can have some, fill some space or whatever. Because I know it gets kind of crazy when nobody knows what to talk about.
But somehow some shit always comes up down there, though, man, on your spot.
Some shit. It sure does.
Just fucking topics create themselves, man. You ain't even got to put that, because it's not like you put the topics in the title. You be talking about art and shit, and then next thing you know, brothers is talking about something, So they create themselves down there, man. I'll be down there tomorrow, though, man. I'll be at your place tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate the support, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, man. You my brother. You already know you royalty up here, man, on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, my brother. You already know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My man.
I'll peel out. You gonna do the theme music?
What's that?
I said you gonna do the theme music. You haven't done the theme music in a while on the way out.
What theme music? What theme music you talking about?
Yeah, when you used to have music going before we leave.
Oh yeah. I used to do that shit. I used to play the music and shit. Now I don't play it until, because with the StreamYard shit, you got all this other shit going on. So, but I'm working on some stuff. I'm in the back channels with a few things. So you're gonna see some subtle changes to the channel over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Okay, Phil.
See some changes, some subtle changes over the course of the next couple of weeks. So, we'll see how it goes, man. I'm actually working with a couple brothers, so, we're doing some things. I'm doing some things for their channel. They're going to be doing some things for mine. So, There's some changes going on the old YouTube sphere, you know, in the back alleys that no one sees, you know.
Yeah, I'm waiting on mine too, man. I think I'm gonna surprise a few people, but I gotta pay that tuition.
My brother, man. I'm gonna be down there tomorrow, though, brother Art. I'm definitely coming down there tomorrow night, man. I will be down there talking shit. All right.
There you, fam. All right.
My man.
Take care, fam.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. That's my brother, man. Brother Art and Style, y'all. That's my folk right there, boy. He been down for me for a long time, boy. Long time. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up, folks. Good shit tonight, man. I hope. Well, I really don't give a shit if y'all was disturbed about what was talked about up here tonight. I really don't care if it disturbed you. I'm glad it disturbed you. I'm glad it disturbed you. We need to be disturbed when it comes to this shit. I can't say it enough, man. I can't say it enough. We need to be freaking disturbed. You know? Stop keeping the goddamn secrets. All right? Now I'm going to play a couple of my damn commercials and we're going to peel up out of here. See you on the other side.
Open your mind.
Hey guys, T.P.O.T. on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But you knew that already. Peace, folks. This is Teacher Tanisha. You're listening to the T.P.O.T. Media YouTube page. You know, now back to the show. You know.
Yeah, so good shit tonight, y'all. I appreciate everybody coming through tonight. I appreciate these good folks right here in this here chat room. But most importantly, man, I appreciate you, man, for sticking with us tonight, man, hanging out with us, listening to us and all that kind of stuff. I want to send a special shout out to Lady Jazz for coming on, you know, telling her story that couldn't have been easy. I also want to thank my man Art and Style and my man Terrence B and Lady Love for coming through tonight as well. I appreciate all the good folks, man, for coming through tonight, man. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate everybody sharing their story. You know what I mean? Some programming notes. Saturday, we might have a debate. I have one half of it in line already because while people was talking, I was back here working on debate for Saturday and Wednesday. So I got half of it going already. So if we're going to do a debate on Saturday, we're going to throw down at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern time on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. Y'all already know how it is. We'll see what happens, and hopefully, you know, we'll throw down. You know, just look out for the thumbnail. All right. Now, also, I want to say this before we go. I know we talked about, you know, a tough topic tonight, man. And, you know, I say again, I know it probably disturbed a few of y'all, man, but it should, man. It should. It should disturb your ass enough to not want your kids to go through it. It should disturb your ass enough to confront your old black ass mama for allowing you to go through it. It should disturb you enough that if you know that this shit is happening to somebody in your family or somebody you're related to or somebody you have access to, it should disturb you enough to do something to try to stop it. And I'm going to leave it at that. All right. All right. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your mind. Peace, folks. See y'all Saturday night.
Open your mind, 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 open your mind.
Only from the Prophet of Thought series media.
You know, you know, you know, you know, you know.
Open your mind, 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 open your mind.